for these lyrics, Tom.
You got new lyrics now? You can't keep changing the lyrics.
That's how I keep the royalties going.
Good evening and welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. I'm Tom Connors. With me is Rob. How you doing?
Fantastic. Getting better all the time.
We also have the one, the only Mecha Random 42. How you doing?
Good.
Glad to have you here. And introducing to our audience for the first time, an awesome YouTuber who you should get to know, Mr. Lucifer Storm. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
Awesome.
We're glad to have you here.
I was going to say, you're classing the joint up. Before we get rolling, why don't you tell the folks just a little bit about yourself and your YouTube channel so they kind of got an idea of who you are?
Yeah, cool. As already mentioned, my name is Lucifer Storm. I'm an award-winning independent graphic novelist from the UK, and I have a YouTube channel where I discuss how to write comic books like the right way, not how to just smash people over the head with a message. I mean, actually tell a story, have characters in it and stuff. And I also do some live streams where I interview fellow independent comic book creators as well as some of the pros as well. And I'm going to be doing an open mic night soon for independent comic book creators as well. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you here. And of course, I was on a stream with you with Andy Signor and a few others. And you impressed us so much. Rob was like, we got to get that guy on. I'm like, I know. And then Captain Hare sent a $5 super chat right away. Says, yes, I watched Star Trek for animated Guardians of the Galaxy ripoffs. Alex Kurtzman really missed his calling as a psychological horror director and writer. We'll get into that, Captain Hare, but that's a first. It's not one that's wishing hate upon Rob. Stephen Otten says with $5, hail Midnight's Edge and everyone in the chat. What fresh hell is that thumbnail? We'll get into that.
No.
We're going to get into that. But before we do, let's ask Lucifer. I got to know, are you a Star Trek fan? Have you been keeping up with all the new Star Trek shows?
No, I haven't. To me, anything beyond Rafa Khan, don't need to worry about it. With the exception of Next Generation. I do like Next Generation, but beyond that, I'm not the hugest Star Trek
you're
fan.
A very old school Star Trek fan.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to get along fine then. So that's...
So before we waste any time on this, we got a first look at the new TV show from Nickelodeon and some ideas of what we'll see on Paramount Plus. So let's start with that. We got our first look at Star Trek Prodigy. Boy, did we ever. So we got not the thing here.
Blue Yaffet.
Ram
Jamaram as an orc.
Yeah. Of course, obligatory chick lady.
Yeah, just random Mass Effect chick. And next to her is, they've got the stereotype SJW haircut, though. With the shaved on the one side, on the other chick there.
Yep. And I'm sure this is the probably the engineer or something like that because he's got all the tools, obviously. Oh, yeah. Of course, he's a flat slob.
In a robot version of the Monsters Inc. eyeball dude, right?
Mike Wazowski.
I was going to say, this is the weirdest poster for Pixar's Inside Out that I've ever seen.
No. This is Pixar's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, right. I see. Gotcha.
I am Brute instead of Groot. Oh Lord! This looks much more seedier than just this dude with like seed-looking things here. Like, what the hell?
Oh.
There's your lawless teens in space, Tom. Remember the lawless?
It's like the Thing from the Fantastic Four had his way with Baymax from, and their forced production of an offspring turned into that.
Somebody compared it to that character that was on the Buzz Lightyear cartoon as well.
It's the dry skin monster.
This is Stargate Infinity. This is just going to be forgotten, and nobody's going to watch this shit. And I'm okay with that.
Well, there is one ray of light in all of this. It is going to be on an actual network, and so we can track how bad the ratings are.
We got another super chat from Captain Harris. Says, you want Rob Payne? Can do. Rob, Trevor Noah doing the covers of Beatles' greatest hits and your favorite song, Pilot Light.
Oh, that would just be like him saying it's not that songs like this in South Africa. Oh God.
Can we have Dean Atwood beat up Trevor Noah? That would be a fair fight.
You know what stands out? Oh, go ahead, Rob.
When I was on a podcast with Jake that time, he said, I think if Rob saw Trevor Noah walking down the street, we'd have to restrain him. And Dave Sheehan goes, yeah, and we'd lose.
And what's funnier is that Rob's kind of a wuss.
He's not a big guy.
No.
But no, like, this is the part that stood out to me. This Prodigy is the first Star Trek series for kids and family audiences. Hasn't Star Trek kind of always been for family until recently?
Until they started throwing in a bunch of nudity and sheer fucking hubris and violence and gore and sex and every other damn thing and Klingork rape and everything else. Yeah, it used to be family friendly.
So what you're saying is that Quentin Tarantino got his wish to do that R-rated Star Trek, and
no, he never did.
No,
because if he would have, it would have been better.
They just took all the they just took. Hey, what do grown-ups like? Oh, they like boobs, they like swearing, and it's a bunch of like 12-year-olds thinking what grown-ups like and trying to be edgy. It's like listening to a squeaker on Call of Duty who's trying to be cool and hip, or whatever the word would be. That's how old I am, and they're screaming over the mic at the top of their lungs, trying to be edgy, and that's what Star Trek is now.
Right. So I'm not really missing out on anything.
No, absolutely not. And honestly, if Tarantino would have done Star Trek, I don't even know if he would have done R-rated, because he's an actual fan. I feel like it would have been the closest we had gotten to classic Trek in a long time.
Definitely.
They said when it was announced that Jean-Luc Picard was coming back for the new Picard series, but this is not going to be the same Picard, and everybody just went, uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. And it was just 10 episodes, every single episode over the course of 10 weeks, him doddering around like an old fool saying, I'm sorry, I'm an old white man with privilege, I'm sorry.
Oh, and then they stereotype, so their whole thing is now we're inclusive and diverse, forgetting that Star Trek always was. So what do they do with these characters of color? Oh, now you're a homeless drug addict who lives in a trailer out at Vasquez Rocks and blames Picard for your being a homeless drug addict. Oh, and you're a single mother, and she's a single mother.
Single mother who abandoned her kid. She abandoned her kid.
Because stereotypes, yay.
Wow. I would love to say that you've sold me on these new shows, but you really haven't, I'm afraid.
We're trying to warn you. We're trying to warn you. We don't want anybody to watch
You've done very well.
No, we're really wasting a lot of his time here talking about this crap, because I'm sure we could be talking about much more interesting topics. But of course, this is the news of the day, and we have to get to it. Jaeger Bomb 2 sends in $5. I'd pay money for these people to just stop. Just stop already. For crying out loud. Why won't it just stop already?
I will pay them $10 a month for their streaming service if they never air Star Trek on it.
At least not anything but classic ones. Because it did say, of course, they will be carrying over the classic shows, but as far as I know, they're going to be on Netflix and stuff still anyway. Then Adam Wolford, our good buddy, sends in another super chat, says, we are sure these are from Star Wars, not Star Trek, or were they rejects from Farscape characters?
No,
or these were also kicked off of Defiance TV show. Yeah, they do look like stuff from Farscape and stuff.
It's worse. These are leftover Fortnite skins.
Ouch.
It's the High Republic again. All over.
It is almost. It is almost. You're right.
It's just a bunch of shit for a bunch of people who are too dumb to know what Star Trek is.
But to get through this Star Trek stuff, let's see here. I had this page ready with
and Lucifer, you didn't even hear the worst part about, or the worst / best part about Picard. At the end of the series, they kill Picard and they put him in a robot body, which looks exactly the same.
And it will age exactly the same. So he'll die in a couple of years. So they waste all that technology. Oh, they clone Data too by shaving bits of his brain, his positronic brain. And
and he's like, I'm in pain.
him.
Please kill me, basically.
Yeah, so they're leaving Data alive on a hard drive somewhere, even though he wants to.
Please tell me this is a collective nightmare that you had and not an actual.
No, I wish. I fucking wish.
And then they bully you if you don't like it. That's the other thing.
That is actually the best description I've heard of this new iteration of Star Trek. It's a collective nightmare.
It is, and we can't get away from it. Now, Mecca, you sent me this. Please explain what this is all about now.
Oh, this is just the quote is incorrect. It's not a real quote, but it kind of really sums up how they really are treating this. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter. We've got this character that you don't even remember from season 1, which we've been telling you for the past 5 years was terrible. So why did they keep going back to season 1? I don't know. Rob, you know more about this guy than I remember because it's been a while for me since.
Yeah, he was essentially a space pirate, and he was a womanizer. This like flamboyant figure. They took
perfect for a Nickelodeon kids show. Yeah.
He lays every female member of the Enterprise crew.
I remember him banging Dr. Crusher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about all I remember about him.
Yeah. All the ladies were looking at him like, ooh, got to get me some of that. And, that's someone you want to have on a kid's show.
Sure it is. Godzillionaire, one of my favorite icons there, says, I'm waiting for that rocket with Roddenberry's ashes to turn around in deep space and head for Kurtzman's house. Well, see, here's the thing now. It's just spinning on his momentum alone. It no longer has to use any fuel or anything. It's just spinning into infinity. It's had enough of this shit. As I have as well. Mm-hmm. But there's more, folks. Of course. Yes, there's more. We've got a rundown of what to expect from Paramount Plus.
But wait, there's more.
That's right. We'll threaten you with more. Coming off of the news the other day that no less than 5 movies will be turned into TV shows, we now have an extensive list of everything to expect on Paramount Plus. Starting with scripted dramas, we've got Criminal Minds. We've got Flashdance, which is obviously one of those movies turned into a TV show. Halo. So for those who are fans of Xbox, you're finally getting a Halo series. Landman. Don't know what the hell that is. Don't care. Love Story, obviously another one, probably based on one of those 5 that we're talking about, based on a movie. Not sure how you turn that into a series, considering the ending, but hey, Mayor Kingston.
They keep doing this, don't they?
Take that long to everybody to remember how the end of the movie is. Like,
yeah, didn't they die? Didn't he die or somebody
dies? Yeah, or whatever. Yes.
This is all. You notice it's all stuff people like maybe vaguely familiar with, but not really sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Mayor of Kingston, which is a new series. Of course, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, which we've talked about. The Italian Job, which is another one of those. There may be some potential for a series there, but isn't that kind of just one heist? Isn't that what it's about?
Yeah.
And here's another one we've talked about. Here's another one of Kurtzman's failures in the making. Man Who Fell to Earth, which, of course, is a readaptation of the book that the classic film starring David Bowie is based on. The Offer, Parallax View, whatever those are. Y1883, whatever that is. Yellowstone spinoff, which is a spinoff of the popular TV show with, I believe, what's his face was in that, who played Superman's dad. Help me out here.
Kevin
Costner, yeah. Then we got Kids and Family. We got Avatar. So I guess we're getting a readaptation or update of that. Dora the Explorer, a new version. iCarly, a new chapter. Camp Corral, the SpongeBob Underyears. So there we go. Now we've got baby SpongeBob. Just what you wanted.
Baby Yoda kicked baby SpongeBob's ass.
It was funny. It was funny though, Tom. When Jake and I were talking about Batman v Superman and Kevin Costner. That one scene, he was on the mountain,
which should have been in Man of Steel, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to be in the movie. Your character's dead. Yeah, I know, but I want to be in the movie. Make it happen.
Okay. And then Rugrats. We actually got a glimpse of this yesterday, and everybody was like, "What sweet hell is this?"
Oh, they do the Rugrats now. Didn't they make them grow up?
CGI? Yeah, they're 3D.
Oh, we got a guy named Lucifer here. We should know what kind of hell this is.
He's like,
it's
fuck,
not hell I want to be a fucking part
That's
of.
what I'm saying. He's like,
Rugrats? No.
He's like, I wouldn't even torture people with this shit.
Yeah. And I'm pretty fucking evil sometimes. That's just wrong.
Every time I watch Rugrats, I'm like, these are horribly neglectful parents. How are they not in jail?
I don't know how they got out of the hospital. They're so deformed. But anyway, of course, Star Trek Prodigy, as we talked about, another version of Fairly Odd Parents. So as we can see here, nothing new. Absolutely
cares about.
Nothing new.
But Tom, you know what's not on that list? It's something actually I'm working on a script for. Lady J.
Oh, that's right. That was another thing that was buried in the announcement. But that's also still nothing new. It's based on G.I. Joe. And then we got reality and scripted and unscripted shows, so they say. We know that's not true. Big Brother live feeds, Dating Naked. That sounds interesting. Ink Master, Love Island, Queen of the Universe, Road Rules, RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, Challenge All-Stars, blah, 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 blah. Fucking blah. Who cares? Comedy.
Actually, I'd rather watch RuPaul's Drag Race than any of these new Star Trek shows anymore. Because at least RuPaul wants to fucking be there.
This is the time to show off my UK cred. Dating Naked is a UK show where people it's a dating game and they strip down and they expose themselves before their potential date. And they're evaluating.
Go over their credit score or something.
Actually, that's more useful.
Or more embarrassing, depending on the person.
I think it would be more exciting if it was like, hello, I know we've just met, but here's my criminal record.
Exactly.
Make the decision from there.
It's like the old Amazon Women on the Moon sketch where Rosanna Arquette pulls up Steve Gutenberg's dating history credit report. Hey, you cheated on this bitch 5 years ago. That's what we need. That's just what we need.
And then you walked away from a condo in Boca Raton.
All right, well, we got some comedy here, it supposedly says. Frasier, we all heard about that coming back. Grease, The Rise of the Pink Ladies. I don't remember if we talked about this on the show or I...
Oh, no wonder they were trying to cancel Grease so much.
Yeah. Then we got Guilty Party, Inside Amy Schumer, something nobody should ever say or think about.
Ew, no.
Reno 911. Well, they found a new home. The Game, Harper House, The Weekly Show with Trevor Noah. There you go, Rob.
Trevor Noah.
You're going to see how much he sucks now on a weekly basis.
Younger, Untitled Beavis and Butthead movie. Movie.
I heard about that one.
Interesting.
That sucks.
Oh, did you see the promo for it? They have a promo for it, which is really good.
No, I didn't. But did you know that there's a movie that never got released?
Yeah. Wasn't that meant to be like the official end to Beavis and Butthead, that movie that never got released?
Well, yeah, it was like I don't know what happened eventually with it, but like it's in like a pencil test form or something like that, but it got pretty far along, but like because they were forcing him to do another one because Beavis and Butthead are owned by MTV. They're not owned by Mike Judge. Yeah. So they can continue to do whatever the hell they want without him if they want to. So he tries to stay involved as possible. And there was a lot of back and forth and crap that went down years ago, and there was going to be a second movie, but I think he was being forced to do it, and then they eventually made some last-minute deal that he got out of it, so it's never been released. I don't know how far along it was, but I know I've seen pencil tests or some stuff like that from it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wasn't it called something like Beavis and Butthead Do the World?
I think so.
I think that sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I don't know if I can show this promo. Let me check.
I think you can, as long as we kind of break it up. Well, they'll just claim it if you do. So super chat, everybody, to help.
Is it new?
It's brand new. It's just a Twitter promo is what it is.
I was gonna say I'll be able to tell by the voices if it's brand new.
It's a Twitter promo. Well, you can tell it's new if you watch it.
Yeah, let me. Okay.
Actually, I really laughed at this one.
You sent it to me. There it is. Okay. I'm boomering this, so just wait.
It's okay. Right. They do too.
Here we go.
Hello? So do we have everybody? Let's see, is Butthead here?
Yeah, it's new.
I'm right here.
Oh. Yep.
So we're making a movie. And it's gonna be on Paramount Plus. You said Mount.
So are they not doing a series then? They're just doing a movie, or what's the deal? I wonder.
I don't know what happened to the series, because I know Mike Judge, like his other 2 series that he was supposed to be doing, they canceled those. So I don't know if they're just now turning the Beavis and Butthead show into just a movie now, or what.
That's weird.
Because remember when we first got news of it, it was supposed to be a brand new series with 20 more episodes, and they had it renewed for 2 seasons. And
yeah, so I'm curious now if it's not just movie. That's a good question. I take it you're a Beavis and Butthead fan, Lucifer.
Oh yes, from back in the day. I remember seeing it air when it was first originally on. That
same here. I love Beavis and Butthead.
Fire.
But hey, I'm up for a new Beavis and Butthead movie. I've got no problem with that.
Absolutely. And then we also got Workaholics movie. I don't know if there's fans out there, but there you go. Then for music, this one's one I'm curious what they're going to do with it, but behind the music, because I always liked it. If they do like crappy shit that nobody cares about now, then whatever. But they could do some good ones, especially if they have all the classics on there. That'd be great. I know Rob would enjoy that probably, even though he's not here. Probably, he says. And then we have, let's see, we're almost done here with the list. We got From Cradle to Stage is a 6-part unscripted television series from David Grohl. Unplugged is coming back, and Yo MTV Raps is coming back. Too bad I don't give a crap about rap music anymore. Then we've got the CBS All Access Originals that will continue to Paramount Plus. No Activity, Star Trek Disgracery, Lower Deck, Pickard, Stephen Colbert, Good Fight, and Why Women Kill. Well, we all know why women kill. Rob's one of those reasons. And then, of course, there's sports. They were pushing that quite a bit. So you'll get to see a lot of sports, some news, their regular 60 minutes and 48 hours. They got a slew of documentaries coming, none of which sounded all that interesting, really. So, yeah, needless to say, I don't think Paramount Plus has a lot going for it, at least from our end of things outside of Beavis and Butthead. You know, it was strangely absent from all that, Rob.
What?
Ninja Turtles.
Really? Oh, yeah, that's right.
You would think they would do something with them to kind of help boost this thing.
Yeah.
Because the other show's kind of run its course. Captain Hare sent $5. CBS All Access has tested Paramount positive. It's terminal. I predict the same outcome as CBS All Access. To be honest with you.
all these shows will probably get absorbed by Netflix or something.
Yes. Cesario GPN. And that's the other thing, too, before we jump into this. That's the funny part, Rob, is a couple of these shows are shows that were rejected by other networks.
Oh, that's the mark. That's a good sign.
Yeah, the Grease one was one they were trying to sell to another network. And, of course, they picked up Reno 911, which I'm not going to speak to the quality of that because I love the classic show, but we know that was off of Quibi. And then I know a couple of the other shows they picked up were ones that were rejects.
You a fan of Reno? Do you know of Reno 911? You a fan?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
Great show.
Okay. It's actually very good. Yeah.
You ever seen Cops?
I've seen like little clips,
like the reality show Cops. Where it's just a guy who follows him around with a camera. That's basically what Reno 911 is, but it's like scripted comedy, but it's set up like it's. They're following along in like a cop show, but these cops are like the most inept cops you've ever met in your life.
Awesome, man. I'll have to add it to my to watch list, which just gets longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, no, it's a classic show. It's one of those that definitely I would recommend.
It takes place in Reno, Nevada, which is like Las Vegas, except smaller and worse.
Great example is one scene the two cops come up to these kids who are taking their bikes and jumping from one roof to the other off of ramps. They're like, "You kids are nuts. This is insane. You can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you pulled it off. $100 says you can't do it again."
I forgot.
Yeah, I'm good for that. I'll do it for $2. The other guy. Yeah, I got me. $2 says he can't make it. Yeah. And then they're like egging him on, and the kid falls to his death. Basically,
I'm always up for exploring like classic comedy.
And then they take off after he falls, of course. So it's like that's the whole joke. Then one of the more famous one that's always goes online is one of the ladies is on the show, the The Goldbergs. Have you ever seen that?
Oh yeah, I've seen the Goldbergs.
Okay, so the mom on the Goldbergs actually started there.
Oh,
and one of her most famous clips is she pulls over a drunk driver, has him do the normal walk the straight line, touch your nose, do all that stuff. And then she's like, okay, now do this. Like, and then she does like a big dance move, like turn, pivot, step, turn, pivot. By the end of the clip, they're doing like this choreographed dance thing. It's hilarious. Like that's the show. Like that's what they do. And then like it's just, a collection of stupid cops.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it sounds like my sort of thing.
Yeah,
so.
It's very, very tongue-in-cheek humor. Cesario JPN says they better not ruin Halo TV show with SJW politics. It's going to send the Halo fan base to riot. Make the Capitol Hill. Well, I don't want to talk about that. Look like that thing looked like a picnic. Yeah, you don't want to mess with video game fans. Are you a video game fan, Lucifer?
No, I'm not actually.
Probably for good reason.
I have a lot of respect for people that play video games and enjoy video games, and I'm very passionate about them. But video games have just never done anything for me, unfortunately.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm not a huge gamer either. So, and I don't know. Hopefully, we didn't lose any super chats here, but it jumped on me. Spider Unlimited says, "What's your takes on Paramount streaming Mission Impossible and James Bond 45 days after theater release?" Oh, so they did get the deal for James Bond. Okay, that's the first I heard about that. As far as the Mission Impossible thing, no surprise there. The James Bond is news to me. So that means they must have ponied up the money. There you go. They're picking up other people's rejects.
Yeah.
That's
at the end of the day, like if James Bond doesn't come out anytime soon, they're just going to keep losing money over and over and over again with that one. So they got to do something with it.
Yeah, pretty much MGM's livelihood is based on that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they've missed their window. I don't think anybody cares anymore about the new Bond movie.
No. They totally screwed it up. Well, and then enough has gotten around now that I think it's not popular enough anymore. And then Tiberius Monk says, I see nothing here to convince me to subscribe. Exactly what I was getting at as well. Yeah. Did I miss one of your super chats, Fat Steven? And then we also got one from Forward Thinker. Says Paramount Plus quote, "We are in discussions about what the next phase of Star Trek universe beyond those 5 shows what Alex has built. Could this suggest that new Trek not produced by Secret Hideout?" Possibly. That's something we've talked about in the past. YouTube is all screwed up right now, so I'm going to try and get these super chats, the ones that I missed here, because I know it jumped on me. And then we just got this Forward Thinker one. That was one I just read, okay, because that finally came up. So yeah, be patient, guys, with me on this one. YouTube has been goofy all day. I don't know if you noticed. But while you're at it, do subscribe to Lucifer's channel if you think you might enjoy his content. Right there's the link.
I wouldn't say no to that.
Absolutely. Well, before I get to the super chats here. So yeah, any final thoughts on this Paramount Plus business before we move on to something that's not mind numbing?
Just to like echo what you said, like beyond Beavis and Butthead, there's really nothing there that makes me think, oh, I need to subscribe to this. Like, I love Frasier. I'm a huge fan of Frasier. But I don't want to see new Frasier. I just want the classic Frasier. And when it comes to the documentaries and stuff, I'm someone who likes documentaries about true crime and serial killers. I get enough of that on Netflix, so I don't really need Paramount Plus. It just doesn't sound that great to me.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. What about you, Rob?
Yeah. There's nothing here that's really making me say, ooh, I got to see that. Especially when there's other ways to get it. I'm not advocating those ways, but if you are going to watch them, you could always get Surfshark. Could use the code midnight. That's what you call integrated ad.
But I do see that the Fat Steven one is the only one we missed. So evidently YouTube doesn't like you, Fat Steven. Why am I beating up Trevor Noah? What did he do? He just exists. He's just a horrible comedian, and
he's not funny, and he's kind of a dick, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's one of these modern day little comedians who's just got to be nasty.
Well, he's turned the Daily Show into SJW Central.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm tired of these little hateful cults going around everywhere. It's like, I'm supposed to be the bad guy. Stop it. You're appropriating my gig.
I know I said this time and time again. When he first got when he first landed the job at the Daily Show, I said, it's April Fool's. I mean, it is April 1st, April Fool's Day. They wouldn't announce it. And then I found out they hired him without an audition. I'm like, why would you hire him without an audition? Wouldn't you want to bring in somebody to see how they react and respond and how they can work in that kind of environment? especially since his previous 3 appearances on the show had bombed. He'd been on the show.
Wasn't it Greg Kinnear who was on it first, or who was on it first?
It was Craig Kilborn.
Craig Kilborn, and then it went. Yeah, so you went from Craig Kilborn to
John
Stewart to fucking Trevor Noah. That's going down.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody, all his fans came out of the woodwork. Oh well, this is his chance to teach Americans about South Africa. And I would tell them that's not his job. His job is to analyze the news and to make fun of it.
If you wanted a black guy, there's plenty of funny black guys you could have got.
But I said, okay, you know what? Let me be fair. Let me go check out his stand-up. I checked out his stand-up. The most recent reference he had was rap, was hip hop. Was like talking about hip hop. I'm like Chris Rock was talking about that in 1999. This is 2015.
That's the one who should have got the job.
Not, I mean, he's got the job on the Daily Show.
And say he's huge, you know, it cost him a fortune. But like, yeah, if you wanted a black guy, first of all, I had no problems with him getting a black guy. That's not the issue.
They wouldn't pay him not black ass.
The issue is
he really though? Because he's pretty much like a typical Hollywood super political white guy anyway.
Probably. Like Dave Chappelle probably would have been the better choice, but they would have never been able to get him back at Comedy Central. But no, the point being is you should have had an American. That's my point I was going to get to. I don't care what color they are, but you have the Daily Show, which is doing American political news analysis.
Now, if they would have changed format that back to what it was before the whole because I dipped when it was all political because it got kind of annoying, you know, just having months and months and months of political. It's like, okay, politics should be from like 2 months every 4 years. That's all I want to hear about it. But no, it was pretty much every single day.
For years.
Well, their goal with the Daily Show, they wanted to turn it into a global brand. So they said, well, we need to bring in somebody from outside the U.S. to give it quote unquote international.
How'd that work out?
Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, you have a guy, he had Juan Williams on, who is a political commentator. I don't know if you're familiar with him, Lucifer. He's a political commentator, does a lot of Fox News. He writes books. And he wrote a book about the founding fathers. And Trevor Noah comes on, please welcome Juan Williams. Oh, now you're making the case in your book that the founding fathers are more than the guys on Mount Rushmore. He goes, yeah, they are. They're more. Those are just 4 guys. You know, the founding fathers are other. You know, there's a whole lot of them. I list them here. I'm like, that's something like you should do your fucking research. A 10-minute search on Google and Wikipedia would tell you who the fucking founding fathers are. You dope. I'm like, you have a guy commenting on American news, American history, American media, and American.
But in South Africa, we don't do it that way. We do it this way.
First thing about it. Affected Goat 666. Just regardless of what you think about Juan Williams, I'm like, that's regardless. He was ill prepared for the interview, and then he comes out and he's shooting pool with Rand Paul. I'm like, what? Is this? Am I watching The Daily Show? I'm watching Jimmy fucking Fallon. What's going on? You want to do your little comedy bits, your little bits with shooting pool? Go take it somewhere else, man. I'm like, obviously he never understood the concept of the show. And I still don't think he does. I mean, it's a miracle. He gets 600,000 viewers a night when South Park is not on, is the lead-in.
That's bad.
Yeah, it is. He couldn't sustain at its height. The Daily Show was pulling in 2 million viewers a night for Comedy Central. That's a big number. Comedy Central,
that's big numbers.
Yeah.
Fezman says the Nerd Crew was right on streaming services. Very cool. Well, we tried to warn you as well, but yes, it's very cool. I know what you're doing there, so yes, very cool. I busted my ass for 5 years. Jackie Chan should have hosted the show, not Trevor. Jackie Chan can barely speak English, but you know, he'd probably be much more charismatic. Adam Wolford says when Halo was over at Showtime, they race changed 2 of the characters from white to black. Also, Showtime showrunners said they weren't going by Halo's canon. Yeah, I don't know much about this. This is the first I'm really hearing about it. So unfortunately, I can't really add much to this, but if we do hear anything, we'll definitely let you know. And then Cesario comes back again with a lot of British comedians on US TV are rubbish. There's clips of John Oliver on Mock the Week. YouTube channel was way funnier than his HBO show.
I'd say that motion.
Yeah, John Oliver's generally funny, but again, and I seen somebody say something about Colbert. Like, yeah, Colbert should have been the one to get the The Daily Show, but then again, he went completely TDS as well. And again, I don't give a shit what
they never offered it. They never offered it to him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I heard that. Yeah,
Colbert was on CBS at the time, but they never even, from what I heard, they never said to anybody else, you know what, John's thinking about retiring, John's thinking about stepping down. If you want the show, we could work you in as the host and get your feet wet. No, never even offered.
Doesn't Jon Stewart have a show coming on HBO now or some shit?
Apple TV. Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes in comparison. And then Stephen Otten, our good buddy, says, if there's anything I hate, it's people who talk down with that fits Noah, Colbert, and their ilk to a T, just as bad as real news anchors. Yeah, that's the thing. Colbert kind of just went like whack.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much of talking down. It's that you have, like I said, you have a guy who doesn't know anything about the material or the medium he's covering.
Right. And this one's for you, Rob.
The karate shows, it's a bust for me. That's my benchmark for if I want to watch something. Does it have karate in it? No? Okay. I'm not.
Then it better have some boobs.
It's got to have at least karate and nudity, or both. So,
what about chainsaws and monster trucks? Would that make up for the lack of karate?
Monster trucks, maybe, but he's not a horror fan, so.
Wow.
Depends what you're doing with the chainsaw. I mean, if you're doing a nice ice
splitting a woman in half, not so much. Making a nice sculpture, I'm down. Especially if it's a nice sculpture of what, Rob?
Boobs.
Or boobs, somebody doing karate.
Naked woman with big boobs doing karate. And carrying a pizza.
We need to make a character karate Karen. You'll love it. I'm kidding, of course. Speaking of Karens, what the hell happened to Madonna?
I don't know. She had a bad facelift.
Something. What else is in?
I don't know. I said years ago, Madonna's going to make a very ugly old woman.
She's not already? Oh, Lord. So, Lucifer, what has been on your mind this week? What have you really been covering, or what have you been talking about on your channel?
Mostly this week, I've just been speaking to some independent creators, talking to them just about like the work that they do and the experiences that they've been having with, especially with people who are like, oh, we don't like the fact that people aren't trying to work with Marvel because then no one can control them, no one can censor and silence them, and how much that fucking sucks.
Speaking of that reminds me of the little PSA that you shared earlier, Mecca. Are you still there? Or I think she said, "Be right back." Okay. Do you have it, Rob? You should share it if not.
Yeah, but it'll take a long time for me.
Well, just send it to me.
Yeah, well, send it to. Hold on, I got the Ford truck one. Let me see if I can bring it up. So banter with Lucifer. Banter.
No. Have you seen any good movies lately?
To be honest, I have just had my eyes on my Wacom tablet working on my new book because I've got a deadline for that of June, which sounds like it's a long way away, but when it's a 130-page book and I'm the asshole who's drawing it as well as writing it, it's a very short amount of time.
Yeah, I saw this gender neutral Potato Head thing. It's kind of stupid because they still have both versions, but they're just both called Potato Head now. That's it.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they've got them in a head and a regular one, but they're just both called Potato Head now. You got to go by the box.
But screw your pronouns, screw your genders. I'm done. There are no genders.
Like Mom was asking about the SJW thing.
Yeah, we got a kick out of that bbefore the show. So if you want to share the how to spot an SJW PSA, that'd be great.
Oh, you want to watch it now?
Yeah, let's show it.
All right, let me pull it up.
Because Lucifer had brought up Marvel, and that reminded me that was a pretty cool bit.
Yeah. So while we're it'll take forever.
I don't know if people are still watching the Connors or not. Is it even still on the air?
I was about to say, did that go beyond one season?
It did, but it was one of those things where I'm sure they had to go at least a couple seasons to prove they were right to fire Roseanne.
Oh, right.
How to spot an SJW. SJWs, or social justice warriors, are everywhere these days. As such, it might be easy to confuse them with punk rockers. In this instructional video, we will provide you with easy-to-follow tips on how to identify SJWs in your community. So, you might be asking, how will I know what to look for? If you suspect you've encountered one, here are some easy to follow simple rules. If they have dyed hair, glasses, a laid-back attitude, and a Ramones t-shirt, then you have a punk rocker. But if they have blue hair, duck lips, thick glasses, uptight attitude, a t-shirt that reads "Meat is murder" and bangs, and if they think by rioting in the name of every big box store and big tech corporation in America is punk rock, well, they're a wokier-than-thou social justice warrior, fighting for whatever the people at Brand Corporation say. If they're screaming about representation and are white with blonde hair, then you've got an SJW or social justice warrior. If they say, "I love The Last Jedi's diversity," then you've probably got an employee of the Lucasfilm Story Group. If they're on Twitter more hours than they sleep per day, then you've got a social justice warrior. And finally, if someone is dressed like a lumberjack but lives 100 miles from the nearest tree, then chances are you have a writer for the latest Marvel comic, if there's still a thing by the time this video is out. Remember, nobody likes social justice warriors. Now, with these simple tips, you can help identify and avoid social justice warriors in your community.
Mecca and Rob or did you just do that one, Rob?
Yeah, that was us. That was us.
Okay,
There's a lot of my little sort of political commentary in there.
Yeah, he threw the idea out there, and I kind of ran with it.
Yeah, and I'm like, here, what's wrong? Wokier than thou. Yeah, we'll kind of brainstorm him. He does like probably 70, and I'll do probably like 30.
Yeah, one of those like old 50s like informational films.
Yeah, we did one for the Gorilla Glue Girl too. But
evidently, I guess they've received enough backlash that they're still going to do Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, but now they'll probably just release a third version. That'll just have all the parts, and then you decide which parts you take away.
Why don't they do that? Just Mr. Potato Head and the bucket of farts. Parts again. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Right, commercial.
With some French.
Oh, that PSA is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The bit about the Marvel writer is just it's too true. It's both funny and it hurts at the same fucking time.
I had to take a shot at Kibbles and Bits. I really did. He seemed like such a perfect. These are the people who really are so desperate to be the high school bullies that's just what they become. And I'm like, you know what, you guys were lame then. You're lame now. Stop it.
Well, I mean, like on my channel, I try to keep it fairly neutral, so that when I'm speaking to creators or whatever, I can say, hey, look, I don't care where you are on the political spectrum. Come on my show. This is Switzerland. We'll just talk about comics, right? And most of the guests that I've had on have either been very center or they've been right-leaning. There's been a few left-leaning ones, and I managed to get one creator on who I would describe as an SJW. Never again. They were absolutely fine on the show, but it was afterwards, just seeing how they were online, I was like, I do not want to be associated. I think the main one that really kind of got me is when everyone was celebrating Rush Limbaugh's death.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're just nasty. They're just nasty, hateful people. I'm like, are you supposed to be the good guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was never a fan of Rush Limbaugh, but my mother always told me you never speak ill of the recently deceased.
Yes.
Just she said there's a time and place for everything. That is not the time.
Even just disagreeing with people, like we aren't allowed to even disagree with things without one faction of people being super, and you must pay, and we need revenge, and we need to hold people accountable, and we'll never let you forget anything ever. And then the rest of us are like, can I just smoke? Can I just eat an edible? I'm in Colorado, it's legal. Can I just go about my day? And if you said something in the past, I can forgive you for it. You're not gonna. It's not hurting my feelings, but no, these people just don't. They want everything, and these social justicey types. This is kind of where we're at. I mean, my whole channel's been like, get your politics out of my entertainment, get your shit out of this. But now it's just like, you know what? Stop blaming me just stop trying to segregate and stop holding everybody to these standards of, basically people thinking people are superior than others. Like, if you really think you're that superior, maybe you're a bad person. Maybe you're not the good guy if you're going around thinking so little of other people. Or
I've always had a problem with people who try to present themselves as I am a saint walking amongst human beings, and that's what I see a lot with these people. I mean, I want to give them a chance. I want to believe the best in people. I want to be proven wrong. But I sat down with one before, and this was like I was running my Indiegogo campaign for my book at the time. I was coming to the end of the deadline. Everything was on tender hooks. It was like, are we going to make 100% or not? I don't fucking know. Let's find out. And I got invited onto a live stream by a lovely lady called Shay, who runs a channel called Red Valkyrie, and she's clearly Comicsgate. And I was like, yeah, look, I don't consider myself Comicsgate, but I will quite happily come on the show. You know, you want to give me some airtime? I'm more than happy to do that. So I told this one guy, like, hey, look, you know, I'm doing this show on Red Valkyrie. I know you're not into the Comicsgate thing, but it's Comicsgate. It's run by Shay. She's a really lovely girl and all that. And he just looked at me with this blank stare and went, how can a woman be Comicsgate? And I was like, are you fucking serious?
Shay's pretty cool. I know her.
Yeah, Shay's awesome, man. And I was like, how can you ask that question? And he was like, but don't Comicsgate hate women? And I was like, dude, I'm going to speak.
Half of them are.
Well, this is the thing. I said, dude, I'm going to speak to you in your fucking language for once. You're a white boy, okay? I don't normally speak like that, but that's what you are. You're a white boy. And all you anti-Comicsgate people, you're all white boys. But you know what? I'm not Comicsgate. I know loads of people from Comicsgate. They treat me with nothing but respect. And there are gay people. There are lesbians. There are bisexuals. There are black, Asian, white, trans, the whole fucking spectrum's there. Now, who's being misogynistic? Me and these Comicsgate people, or you saying, how can a woman be Comicsgate? You know, it blows my fucking mind.
Oh, and get on Twitter with these people. You know, if you have one opinion, like and I hate having to drop it. I hate having to use the bisexual route, right? I hate having to say that anytime I talk about anything in like the gay community or in the transgender community or any of that. Because they'll bully you. How can you be this if you think this and this and this? And these male feminists, especially, they get in their little wokier than thou shit. I'm like, you're basically like an abusive boyfriend right now, and I don't know you, and I've never met you, and you're telling me why I'm wrong, why I have internalized misogyny, why I'm sexist, why I'm a racist, why I'm a bigot, why I'm this and this. I'm like, dude, all I said was, you know, maybe social justice stuff doesn't belong in entertainment. For everybody, maybe, you know, we need to have some form where we can kind of come together and understand right and wrong and good from bad, and we don't even have that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And they will bully you if you're a woman. They will talk down to you. They will they will insult. They will name call. They will shame. And they do the same thing if you're a black person in Comicsgate or if you're a whatever, because they have the stereotype. Even with, you know, the political affiliate, they think that everybody who is this political affiliation, thinks this way. All this color, is all this gender, is all this, you know. They think everything is like anybody who's Comicsgate or conservative or anything or not alt-left is a 40-year-old white dude. And then they get mad and they use racial slurs or sexist language to attack anybody who might not be in the same clique as them. And then they want to bully you to it. You'll never be woke unless you read this book, unless you accept your superiority. All right, first off, I don't want to be woke. I want to wake up, or I want to turn my brain off and not deal with your shit. Second off, you're talking like a cult member and you're violently attacking people who don't agree with you. What's wrong with this picture?
You know what? I talked about this when I was on Popcorn Planet with Tom, which that was such an awesome stream. I really enjoyed being part of that. My theory is this: we keep referring to it as a culture war when it comes to like the SJWs and everything. And I believe that culture is being used as a tool in the war, but the war is not actually over culture. It's a war of narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
So you got your overt narcissists, you got your covert narcissists. You decide which ones they are. To me, your overt narcissist is very extreme right-leaning people, and your covert narcissists are the very extreme left-leaning people, and everyone else is stuck in the middle. And I hate to use the tagline of Alien versus Predator, but whoever wins, we all lose. Every single last one of us, because they're fighting for control. And what they don't seem to realize is they both want to control the exact same fucking things.
And I don't even think that, like, if you're stuck in the center, they shove you over to the right no matter what, because they
Yes.
can't agree on anything. They can't agree with anybody. So
Yeah.
their little mindset is getting more narrow and narrow and narrow. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
like I'm sending Tom a picture over DM here. I don't know if he can show it or wants to, but this is kind of how I view the social justice warrior sort of people. They think that they are superior. They think that everybody else is
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
inferior. They think that they need to speak on everybody's behalf. I've had people get mad at me when I don't speak on behalf of the transgender community against Gina Carano, even though I'm like, well, I'm not transgendered. I need to know my place and stand my lane.
Yeah.
And yeah, I sent you that one. I sent you one on DM too, but Gigi Sparkles, shout out to her. She's really awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Over on Clownfish TV. Yeah, she tweeted that out. I'm like, yeah, it's like being in an abusive relationship on Twitter, dealing with the Star Trek people, dealing with all that. So and that's what it feels like. So she tweeted out the gaslighting picture there, and I had to retweet that. So
yeah, because like I mean, a lot of what you described, like their feeling of superiority, that's very common in narcissism. Like, and I know about this stuff because I'm the son of a narcissistic parent, and I ended up learning a hell of a lot of stuff about narcissistic personality disorder. And it's one of those things, once you start learning about it and you start learning about the signs, you start seeing it in places where you didn't notice it before, or you did notice it, but you didn't know what it was. And look, everyone at the end of the day has the potential to be a narcissist, because it's all about having a healthy ego. If you have an unhealthy ego, you're bound to have narcissistic personality disorder or narcissistic traits. And what's happening is we are seeing an uptick of people who are becoming more and more narcissistic. And every narcissist thinks they are right, no matter what. They will come out and they will say to you, you see the sky? The sky is neon pink. And the moment you show them empirical evidence, undeniable evidence that the sky is not neon pink, rather than just accepting it, they have to use bullying tactics. They want to control the way you think and feel, because they can't control how they feel. And people who can't control their own emotions need to control other people's actions and the way they think. And that's what's going on.
And that's you're absolutely right. They feel like they're the only people who are. I compare it a lot to religion. It's the self-righteous moral superiority. These are the same people who 30 years ago thought Dungeons and Dragons was satanic and evil, and we have to silence it, or we have to censor all these albums because the kids are going to learn swear words, and we can't. This control freak sort of person. It's back to narcissism. They want to control everything. They think they're right. They think they're superior.
Yes.
When presented with evidence, they scream or bully like a cult member being deprogrammed.
Yeah.
You can't reason with these people. They have this idea that people actually want to be like that, because I think a lot of people will put their heads down and be like, I don't want any trouble. I don't want any trouble. Sure, whatever. I'm the white devil. Sure, whatever you want to call me. I'll agree with you. Just don't yell at me anymore.
Yeah.
And people are getting tired of it. I think people are fighting back because we're just, hey, enough already. I get it. Yeah. So fine. If I'm racist or if I'm sexist or whatever, how do you solve it? You got 30 seconds to give me instructions. Give me a clear set of instructions on what I'm supposed to do to fix this. You don't have any? No, none. Okay. So you just benefit off of having that control and having that power over somebody. Yeah. And you don't actually want to solve this. If you wanted to solve this, we would have found a way to do so by now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, a lot of what you've said there is that's exactly what people do when they're in abusive relationships, or when they're in a relationship with a narcissist, whether that narcissist be their partner, their significant other, whether it be a sibling, a friend, a parent. It's the same thing. They try to fight back against it, and they try to do that very gently at first, and then they get the backlash, and they get it so harsh and so often that it is natural for them to turn around and go anything for an easy life, because they don't see a way out.
Yeah.
And all they can think is, well, hold on, if I get out of this relationship with this asshole, what's there to say that I'm not going to end up with a bigger asshole? So better the devil you do. And that's the mentality that they think. And they think, you know what, if I just bow down, and when they have one of their moments, if I just apologize, even though I don't need to, then everything will be fine. I don't want to get hurt anymore. And that's understandable. We don't like pain, so we try to avoid it. But in doing so, we end up causing ourselves even more pain. And the best thing that you can do with a narcissist is you cut them out. You either minimize the amount of contact that you have with them, or you cut them out completely. I have another 3 siblings, and 2 of them did that with my parent, who is a narcissist. They just said, you know what, enough of this shit. I am out, and they haven't turned back, and their lives have been so much happier for it. And I think the unfortunate thing is it's not just people out there who are getting this abuse from the SJWs, because let's call it what it is. It is abuse. There's nothing nice about it whatsoever. And people are just, it's not just people, it's not just society, it's the corporations as well, it's the businesses, because all they're thinking is, if we offend them, we're going to lose some money. Yeah, but you're losing more money from the other people who are in the same boat as you. And if you just stood up and said, no, fuck you, I'm the one who's running this business, not you, then things would be a lot better. I can't remember who said it, because I'm not a sports guy, but there was a football coach who was once asked, when you've got the crowd cheering at you, telling you what to do you ever listen to anything that they say and then implement it? And he responded with, those who listen to the people in the seats are doomed to sit with them. And that's what the corporations, the studios, they all need to realize that. No, these people should not be telling me how to run my fucking business, because the studios are multi-billion-dollar businesses. They got there on their own without the help of the people who go onto Twitter and go, you need to do more of this, you need to do more of that. Well, excuse me.
The other way around.
Yeah.
I think it's the other way around. I think the studios are utilizing those people as pawns to manipulate everything, because I think that by stereotyping and segregating, I think they lost what the hell they were doing 20-30 years ago. They don't know how to make anything great. There hasn't really been a great movie since like the 80s, and there's been a few good ones in the 90s and a few good ones here and there, but nothing's been so iconic as the 1980s. They lost their way once it went all corporate, once it went McDonaldization. So they only see people as these marketing demographics. And now in the day of the internet, you've got a million subcategories. You have a million different little sub pockets and sub communities all doing their own thing. There is not one national movement like ET, or there's not one thing that everybody goes to, right? So they're trying to condition and shuffle and file people into, oh, you're this gender, you're this race, you're this identity, you're this orientation, you're this whatever. And it's easier to market to people that way once they shuffle them into, oh, well, if you are let's say you identify as a transgender, this or that on Twitter, then clearly you are a liberal. So we're going to give you these ads. We can market this stuff to you, and that's your group. And then they kind of forget that there's a lot of us older people who are less likely to be conditioned, less likely to bend over and take it. And we're going to say, hey, Last Jedi fucking sucked, and you can shove this up your backside. We don't want any more. And then they tried to bully you into submission for a little bit with all these, oh, you're a toxic racist, you're a sexist, you're this if you don't like our product. And it was going to work for a while until people started really, really standing up to this, I think, until 2016 when everything kind of broke. People realized, oh shit, we can't control this. What are we doing? How do we double down, triple down, quadruple down? So I think that might be part of it. I could be completely wrong though.
No, those are all valid points, because like I'm sure that most people who have like YouTube channels, or they have an Etsy store or whatever, at some point they've looked into marketing, and one of the first things you hear is demographic. So we start getting into that mindset of we must pigeonhole everyone, or we must put labels on everyone. And the problem with that is last time I fucking checked, labels are meant for clothes, not people. Yeah, and that's where one of the big problems comes in. I agree with you though. Like with a lot of the entertainment that's been coming out, look, I spent most of the pandemic not watching new shit. I tried a couple of like new movies and stuff, and I was like, this isn't fucking doing anything for me. But then I would go back to movies that I used to watch when I was a kid in the 80s. I was having a whale of a time. And then I started watching movies from the 80s that I had never seen before. And I was like, oh my God, this stuff is fucking incredible because it has heart and soul.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started noticing something. There's a defined look to the 80s when you start watching those movies. There's a defined sound when you listen to the music of the 80s. And the same with the 90s. But somewhere in the 2000s, everything became the same. We think about 70s. And when we think about the 70s, we think of like disco music or Motown. We come to the 80s and we start thinking about the synth wave kind of stuff and like the early days of rap and hip hop. We come to the 90s and we start thinking about grunge and more electronic music. We come to the 2000s. What genre of music defines the 2000s?
Right.
The 2010s.
It's just a repeat of everything that's come before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
There's two guys, Max Martin and Dr. Luke, have written just about every single hit from the year, 2003 or 4.
Yeah, that or Diane Warren.
I mean, it's so homogenized. It really is.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, we're seeing a homogenization of the popular culture.
No problem. I just want to get to these super chats before they disappear. Stephen Otten sends in $5. Here's a movie: Ninja Kickboxing Lesbians from Mars versus Bruce Campbell from Congo, Part 5.
That's $1 billion movie.
I am sold to the man with the barking spider. I will get my best crayons out and make you the best counterfeit money I can for that movie.
Adam Wolford says, I heard Chun-Li isn't in Mortal Kombat, but she will be in the new Dark Stalkers. Also, for the first time ever, she will be in the new Street Fighter. Oh, that's funny. Let's see here. What else we got? Jumped on me again. Hopefully I didn't miss any. If I did, I'll check back here. But we got Goddess of Whim, who says, breaking news: Emilia Clarke replacing Aquaman and Amber. Rob, Emilia Clarke replacing Amber Turd in Aquaman 2. Yeah, we've been talking about this the last few days. We don't know how.
What's her face? Yeah, what's her name? Who again? Who?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Oh shit!
I heard something about that. I heard that Amber Heard is gone, but she's not being replaced with Emilia Clarke. But then again, I don't know. I'm not an expert in these things.
Yeah, well, a lot of this I think started from this Boss Logic poster he released with Emilia Clarke in her place. Yeah. And he's done legitimate work before, so I think people were just kind of scratching their head like, what? And then all of a sudden, people found this article from back in December where Emilia had purchased a house, right? Is that what it was? Purchased or sold her house? I can't remember.
Yeah, sold her house for like 4.4 million.
Yeah. And then anyway, buried in the bottom of that article was, she's worked on this, that, and the other, and she's going to be replacing Amber Heard as Aquaman in Aquaman 2 as Mira.
She could just replace what's his name too at this point.
Yeah, might as well.
Might as well, because I mean I'm sick of him too.
You mean he's not so badass anymore?
All the characters in Aquaman 2 should be played by Emilia Clarke. We'll just go that route.
That or just get David Chappelle to play all the parts. Hey, Aqua bitch, come here. Look. We got to save the world. People are fucking with fish.
Once again, I will get my fucking crayons out. This sounds like a great idea.
Badass. Diego Flores says, oh my God, Lucifer Storm is here. Yes, he is. Diego. Question for you. Have you read Thomas Sowell's works? Because I think much of what you say matches his ideas about white liberals.
I can't say I have, but I'm going to make a note of that name and I will check out his works because I'm always looking for something new to read.
There you go. That's a name I've heard quite often. And yeah, so that somebody might want to check into. Stephen Otten says Disney Plus just sent me a survey inquiring as to why I canceled my subscription. I think I made myself clear. Well, hopefully you did tell them why. Because as we've said before, if you don't tell them, they will not know. You'll just be part of the regular churn. If you don't say I canceled because you canceled Gina, then they don't know that. But then let me double check here, make sure I didn't miss any super chats in between all those. But while we're talking on that subject, is there anything that's been on your guys' minds lately? We got some new Spider-Man news with the new title, No Way Home. What's your thoughts on that?
Couldn't care. Couldn't care.
Not a Marvel movie fan.
Look, I really loved like phase 1. I thought phase 1 was fantastic. I thought phase 2 was great. Loved Infinity War and Doctor Strange and Civil War, but most of phase 3 I was like, this is all the same fucking movie. You're just trying to sell me a polished turd at the end of the day. Once again, heart and soul has gone out of it. So anything beyond Infinity War, I've just stopped caring about.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I didn't hate Infinity War, and I didn't really care for the second Spider-Man movie, but Rob?
A lot of people dipped out after Infinity War.
Yeah.
I mean, Infinity War was an exhausting movie to sit through, really, if you think about it. I mean, it takes a lot out of you as a viewer.
I am kind of interested because this is probably going to be a multiverse movie, I'm sure, where we may get Toby and a few others back. What about you, Mecca? I know you don't really care too much for the MCU, but I think you enjoyed the Spider-Man films.
Yeah, I like the Spider-Man movies enough, so I'll probably watch it. I'm curious to see what happens. But did you see the bigger news where Tom Holland stated in an interview, I think during like talking about all the press for the Spider-Man stuff anyway. So recently he's like, yeah, I auditioned for Finn.
Yeah, I heard about this, and apparently he failed because they had someone reading the script to him, and they were doing like the R2D2 noises or whatever it was, and he started giggling at them, and that's how he lost it.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because they love their representation and diversity, but Finn was originally a white character, so
interesting.
That's what I kind of found was funny. But Tom Holland also doesn't seem to know shit about Star Wars because he calls them like androids.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's the full word for droid, but yeah.
Oh, he's adorable. We'll give him a pass on that. He's like a little 5-year-old. You just want to be like, oh, that's sweet. Here, have a cookie.
Other than that, I mean, are you excited for any of the Snyder Cut or anything going on in comic book movies right now?
I'm interested in the Snyder Cut. I gotta admit, I am interested in the Snyder Cut. I'm not holding out any hope, though. I'm keeping my expectations super, super low with that one. It's great seeing all these comic book movies being made, seeing like characters from my childhood coming to life on the screen. But now it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, you made the dream a reality. Can you please stop now? It's kind of like that original Twilight Zone episode where a gangster or a bank robber or something dies and he's got a guardian angel and he thinks he's in heaven because anything he wants he can have. Yeah, I want to gamble and I want to meet women and I want a fast car, and he gets it and then he realizes, hold on, every time I gamble at this casino, I win. And that's just not good. So he speaks to his guardian angel and says, like, can we sort this out? Because I mean, this is heaven after all. And the guardian angel says, no, it's not. This isn't heaven. This is the other place. And it kind of feels like we're in that situation now where it's like, can we just time out, just a breather?
So you're getting into the fatigue zone. I got you. Yeah, that's fair. And Miguel Hernandez says Glasses Guy, which Glasses Guy is Lucifer Storm, but that's all right because I had his name off the screen for a while. But if you'd like to subscribe to his channel, like a few have already, it looks like, you can check out that link I just posted in the chat. The question is, corporation, or the statement, I should say, corporations rely on their marketing teams to make decisions rather than their artistic and financial people. Yes. Yeah. And you see that across the board in a lot of these places now. And then Diego Flores says, also got here late. Wanted to know, have you guys talked about how the mob is now after my patron saint, Lord Cavill? Yeah, well, I think we mentioned it the other day when we were talking about the Ahsoka business, about them going after Rosario next. I did jokingly mention that I think a week ago, like, watch, they'll go after Henry Cavill now too because he dated her, and then then it happens. So, like, again, this is one of those things where you can almost predict it.
Yeah, because they love guilt by association. They absolutely adore it. If you say one thing that some asshole at some point, or asshole in their fucking eyes has said, or what, like, I can't wrap my head around this, because if they like guilt by association so much, then they need to realize something, right? Hitler ate food. And I bet they eat food as well.
Right.
So why aren't they fucking guilty as well?
I've made the same point, and of course, this point was made way back where I stole it from was Stan Lee of all people, because he made the whole point when Frederick Wortham came out against the whole comic book thing, and he's like, they did a study because juvenile delinquents read comic books. He's like, yeah, but all kids drink milk too. Are they going to put them?
Yeah,
they're going to pull milk off the shelves,
In the 80s, by the way, I just want to say to that comment that was just last on screen, Thanos in the house. Because someone mentioned Nerd Crew earlier. But in the 80s here in the UK, when VHS tapes were first coming out, there was no certification, there was no censorship board. So a lot of movies that were banned from being in the cinema.
The video nasties,
the video nasties. And one of the people who started that was this woman called Mary Whitehouse, and people retaliated by making a porno mag called Whitehouse, which was absolutely beautiful. She wanted everything banned. She wanted Alice Cooper banned. She wanted Doctor Who banned. Everything to her was like, oh no, this is affecting children. And it got to the point where they brought in so-called scientists to examine video nasties and show them to certain people and see what sort of effects it had on them. And at one point there was a politician, if I remember correctly, it was Graham Bright, who on TV said, we've done some research into the video nasties and we believe that they are damaging children and dogs. What fucking planet are these people from?
Man.
We've done some research. We found that animals are watching more television.
The animals are watching The Evil Dead, and now they're going out and fucking killing. No, they're not. That's so fucking stupid. Like, what are these? These people do this whole thing of like, oh, but if we have something nasty on the screen, then other people are going to go out and do that as well. What is your fucking excuse before movies and TV existed? Because people were hurting people and saying nasty words to other people all the fucking time. This argument has been debunked 1,000,001 times over,
Yeah, didn't you know that Jack the Ripper's favorite movie was Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
What were we talking about the other day? I think Rob and I were talking about it on something where we're with this Grand Theft Auto business. It's like people have been carjacking longer than video games have existed.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
the game is named after the actual offense.
They're gonna. What are they gonna do? Blame Red Dead Redemption for the Old West, for the outlaw days? Seriously, don't they understand that art is imitating life? Maybe if they did something to do away with the crimes and the things that people do to each other, like that, in a way that actually helps society and doesn't just punish and shame and make everything 10 times worse, which they can't do because everybody's a bunch of assholes now, and they all have been. But maybe if they found a way to actually fix some of these things, we wouldn't have so much of it.
Yeah, like Diablo Dame says here, a certain German ruler was a big fan of Warcraft as well. If that was the case, maybe they'd have won. I don't know, but
I once dated this girl. She was a lovely girl. I've got nothing against her. We're not together anymore. But whilst we were dating, she wanted to watch some South Park. She loved South Park. I loved South Park. There were some episodes that she hadn't seen. So I was like, okay, let's just put on a random episode. See if it's one that you've seen before. And it wasn't. And it happened to be the Human Centipede episode. And the moment
great episode.
It is, isn't it? I fucking love that. Hold on, Kyle. I believe in you. But yeah, the moment there was a reference to the Human Centipede in there, she got real quiet and she was like, I want to watch something else now. I was like, okay, fine. I'm not going to poke the hornet's nest. I'm just going to leave it the fuck alone. And then all of a sudden she just came out with this statement of like, no surprise, there's so many fucked up people in the world with a movie like that out there. And I was like, whoa, hey, whoa. Have you seen the movie? No, but I know people who have. Oh, right, you're one of them. And you think that everyone who watches it becomes a completely fucked up psychopath. And she was like, yes, I do. And I was like, okay, I'm going to list some movies to you. And I want to know if you've ever heard of them or ever seen them. A Serbian film, August Underground, The Angel's Melancholy, Cannibal Holocaust, Visions of Suffering. Have you heard of any of them? And she was like, no. And I was like, they make the Human Centipede look like the fucking Wizard of Oz.
Right.
I actually called things in some of these movies, and like, what do they think? Like, what do people think? Do people? People just think nothing happened before now. I think a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's madness. It's the same like when they're trying to like cancel a show because of presentism, where they're like, oh, we know this was made like back in the 80s and all that, but there's stuff in there that just today it's just so horribly offensive. Yeah, but the thing is that shit existed then and we didn't have any problems. You know what we did have though? Lots of people smiling. There was plenty of high fives. There was hugging involved as well. This is the big thing that I think really fucks me off about that particular group of people who are trying to like ban and censor and silence everything. I never see them smile, not once. And I don't know about you, but I like smiling. I like laughter.
No, they genuinely don't have any cheer in their life. You're right.
No, they're just out to try and make everybody else like to prove. Oh, I'm they just have something to prove to the other assholes on Twitter. And I keep telling people, why are you proving who are these people you have to prove anything to? You don't know these people. These are random bots or children or trolls in a basement somewhere. Why do you have to prove anything to you? You're trying to prove you're more virtuous than this asshole. Who cares? Who cares what he thinks? Nobody's actually looking at what you did or said. You don't need to join the cult. And if they do, and if they find something where you said the N-word 20 years ago, say so. Yeah. Fuck off. What does it hurt you?
Well, and then Goddess of Women points out, just like many of you have been in the chat, I'm not ripping out spines because I played Mortal Kombat back in the 90s. Yes, normal people don't do shit like that.
There you go. In the 80s, I watched the Monster Squad. I am not going around looking for werewolves that I can kick in the testicles.
Right. And that bothers me so much. Like, I remember when Scream came out, Nightmare on Elm Street, a few other movies, like you had these killers who said they emulated them. It's like, you got one person. I guarantee you that these people had problems before they saw the movie.
Well, they trying to blame. They try to blame everything on everything all the time. Like they were trying to blame Marilyn Manson for the kids shooting up the school.
Columbine.
Yeah,
but if you notice, they only ever like blame mainstream stuff.
Yeah,
there's so many like smaller movies and TV shows and even music out there. Like, you know, you've got people out there going, oh, we can't have things like Baby It's Cold Outside because of this, that, and the other. And it's like, but at the same time, there's a sub-genre of music that I really love called murder folk. And it's all about killing people. It's all about domestic abuse and drug addiction and stuff. But you're okay with that being out there because there's only weirdos like me that fucking listen to it.
I guarantee you they don't know about it. They don't know about it.
As soon as they do, they'll try to end it, though.
And 9 times out of 10, what I found with these people is a lot of the time it is a way for these kind of ugly geek girls. They're just ugly chicks who wouldn't be popular anyway. And now that this SJW shit is kind of like the popular crowd, or at least they think that it is, because Hollywood does it. And they always emulate what the assholes in Hollywood do. So they come into something like Dungeons and Dragons or video games, and they have to, or anime or whatever you're into, and they will say, "Where are her organs?" Right there where they're supposed to be.
I fucking hate that.
And they attack these things because they're not allowed to say I hate something, right? Because I'm of the day where I grew up on Beavis and Butthead. Like if something sucks, I say it. But a lot of these people are like 20 and 30 years old, and they grew up in this no negativity era. They weren't allowed to say they hated everything. Everything was, they had to like it ironically if it sucked. And now they're into, I have to find something to attack of this so I don't have to pretend to be a fan of it. And they don't realize that that's what they're doing. So they attack like Dungeons and Dragons, or they attack a video game, or they attack a comic book or a movie or whatever.
Yeah, where the fuck are her organs?
She has a figure Karen Carpenter we'd be really, really jealous of.
My God.
What happened?
I don't know.
It's weird because you get a lot of the where are her organs, and then you get a lot of that's anatomically infeasible. Her tits cannot be that fucking big. Kind
Dolly
of thing.
Parton's like, excuse me?
Yeah, exactly.
Plenty of women have naturally large breasts, and they end up getting them reduced for back problems, or they go into porn because they love it. I hate these puritanical women who are like, why can't I don't like you just have your tits hanging out on your picture. Yeah, there's a reason for it, because it draws the eyes to the tits, and I'm comfortable with people looking and clicking on it. I want people to click my content. I want people to watch.
They're nice. They're inviting. They're warm. They're friendly. They remind us of motherhood, and they remind us of fun.
Well, not only that, it's my choice. It's my body, my choice. You get these people, like, they'll shame porn stars, and you see these women, they're strong, independent business women. Look at Tanya Tate. She organizes a whole lot of other porn stars. She's their PR manager, basically. So you have these women, they're doing exactly what they want to do with their own bodies, with their own businesses. Same thing with any one of us. But if we're not on that side, we're not allowed to. Yet we're not allowed to look at you sideways or choose to look the other way if we see a she, it, they, them, whatever sort of person who's making themselves look as ugly as possible just for attention, just so that they can be seen. Look at me. I want to be seen. Respect my pronouns. Yeah. Which ones are this week?
We went through all that just for a picture of Brie Larson.
Yeah, she updated her. So,
we waited that long. Jesus.
She has a new selfie.
We're talking about her.
I did not want to see her in the nude.
She's appearing at Lowe's and Home Depot now.
Tiberius Monk says, for those who doth protest too much, who are holier than thou,
right?
Who want to indoctrinate you, check the skeletons in their closet, for they are deep. And as
true,
Gina Carano pointed out in her interview, was like, it's funny how these people are trying to destroy me with lies when the truth could destroy them.
Yes.
Yeah, and how these billion-dollar companies are afraid of one woman.
Or you're too white.
Yeah, or they'll send like their marketing accounts to attack me on Twitter to try and shut me up for the day or something, or to preoccupy me. It's like you're afraid of what I'm saying on my YouTube channel about your stupid Star Trek show, or about your stupid Batwoman, or whatever stupid.
And I could play their game, but the rules change all the time, and we bring that up all the time. The perfect example is I was making a joke, but look at the Coke thing. They're like, quit being so white. It's like, okay, well, first of all, if I do anything that's remotely not white, I'm automatically appropriating something.
Yes. Right.
So what the fuck am I supposed to do?
What's the final solution on this? Because I think we all know where this is going. I think because if you don't actually have any suggestions on how to fix anything, you're either using this to your advantage, or you're going to go so far to the point where there is no other solution.
I was going to say, just get rid of the white folk, right?
Yeah. Mm.
DCV Titan, and I don't think they're just going to put us on an island either.
No.
Yeah. DCV Titan, Canadian $10. They always blame things on video games, movies, or the media, but they never blame the actual problem. The goddamn idiot parents, heaven forbid, they be responsible for their crotch spawn.
Exactly, and this is a point I was going to bring up before too, but I love hearing Lucifer talk, so I just let him talk. But I remember, when the kid, killed his sister or whatever, doing the wrestling moves, and you've had those other things. It's like, that was the parents' fault. That wasn't the kid's fault. That wasn't the TV's fault. It was the parents' fault for allowing the kids to watch something like that and not telling the child, guess what? That's fake. Yeah. I didn't go around trying to kill my cat or burn his tail or do all that kind of shit. Like somebody pointed out earlier, Tom and Jerry, like if I would have watched that and believed that and thought that my cat could live after doing that to it, well, obviously, my parents told me at a very young age, yeah, this is a cartoon. The Wile E. Coyote would not live if that happened.
I think the first time you step on an ant, you kind of understand life.
Exactly. Yeah. Normally, even if you're somebody who doesn't understand the very basic, simple life and death thing, just a parent simply telling you this is pretend, this could kill you if it was real. That's all it really takes. That's enough to get a kid to go, whoa, okay, maybe I shouldn't jump off a fucking cliff.
More of them should.
Yeah, well, that's natural selection. That's something we don't have enough of in modern medicine.
Don't glue your hair. Please do not put glue in your hair. Gorilla glue is not. We have a commercial for that. We have a PSA. If you want.
Go ahead, bring that up. We got a super sticker in the meantime. Says keep it up. It's a pair pump and iron from the one, the only Sjws Rebels. If I'm saying that right, 08. Thank you so much. Let's see that PSA. What you got? And Lucasfilm's struggling session is really struggling with this. See, just can't even deal with it. Took him 4 hours to watch the Gina Carano interview.
I remember like seeing like you talk about you know, you don't tell kids.
Glue. Glue comes in all forms, shapes, and sizes. For centuries, it's had 1,000,001 uses. Unless you're an idiot who decides to glue his lips or other body parts together. I put my balls to my butthole again. Whoa, that's a sticky situation. Oh my god, what did I do? And now, that'll have to be amputated. Now you have no lips or balls, and you'll have to drink through a straw or sit down to pee. Too bad. So remember, glue it, don't abuse it. This has been a public service announcement paid for by the committee to stop people from gluing their lips or other body parts together. Glue is not produced by actual gorillas or chimpanzees. And humans, don't put it in your f***ing hair.
Hey, wait a minute!
Yeah, all you got to do is watch Police Academy to learn not to do that shit.
Right. Oh, but cops am bad now, and but people all of a sudden care about them again because I hate people.
I know. People are so stupid. Back to the dinosaurs.
Right. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, can I just change the channel on these people? Can we just stop? Can you put me on the spaceship? I want to go home already. Fuck this stuff. Oh. Yes, Blue is racist too. I'm sure I'll get canceled for that one.
I want to get off this planet. Diego Flores sends in 20 Peruvian souls, says, my dad made me see Aliens and other gory and violent movies from the 80s. I am a 90s kid, and I am the person who tries to save everything, single animal, including bugs and spiders, and actually feel bad if I can't. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, Diego, I get you 100%. Like, I love, and I mean fucking love horror movies. Like, you know, Mecca knows I've got tons of Freddy shit.
Good man.
Yeah, I mean, just behind me here, I've got like
he's my talking Freddy back there. I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
Oh, it's under the After Dark logo.
But I've got like tons of shit like that, and I love horror films. Just absolutely adore them. But like, if somebody cuts their finger, I'm the first guy going like freaking out and probably passing out. Like, I'm not good with real blood.
Yeah, no, I can get that, man.
So like that goes against the entire like idea of like, oh, you like these freaky, crazy, gory things. The gorier and crazier, the better. But yet you can't stand real blood. That doesn't compute. You're supposed to be a psycho, exactly. And I know Rob was going to make a point too before that as well.
No, I was just gonna say, you know, I remember seeing one time at some talk show, whatever, you know, back when talk shows were still a thing. It says, my son tried to stab his little brother after watching Batman. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And someone gets up. How about telling your son not to stab your little brother? How about that?
Mm-hmm.
No shit, right?
Take some damn responsibility. I mean, the only people who are actively hateful and violent and promoting things are the people who claim everybody else is. Like, well, maybe just take care of yourself. Maybe stop being a violent dick yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when they do that whole like, oh, we hate, and you know we're trying to make people nicer to each other, and all they're doing is projecting. Mm-hmm. They're putting a great big fucking neon sign above their heads and saying, guess what? I've got a fucking secret. There's a reason why here in the UK we have the saying of monsters don't get close to children. Nice old men do.
Yep. Yeah.
Because whether anyone likes it or not, everyone on this planet, you, me, not one person excluded, we all have a deep, dark secret somewhere that's going to the fucking grave with us. The difference is, I accept that I've probably got one if I don't know what the fuck it is right now, but I know it's there. And I'm going to take it to the grave with me, and I will put my fucking hands up to it. But they won't.
No, absolutely.
Because then their ego is way too fragile to deal with the fact that maybe they're not perfect. Maybe they're not always right. And they just have this fucking meltdown and they have to take it out on someone else because, like I said, they cannot control their own emotions.
No, they're impulsive, emotional, irrational, violent. They have to immediately, like they immediately want to swarm and stop and correct. And Rob, Tom, and I, we interviewed one of the actors from Star Trek for the main channel, and just recently he tweeted out something that was really, really telling, and it was basically how he stated how he used a racial slur for a friend of his when he was younger. Okay, you're assuming that everybody does. You're treating society that because you did this and you're trying to be wokier than thou, that everybody does these things and
it's projection. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And I dealt with it yesterday.
I'm sure I've said and done. I'm sure I have, but you know, for crying out loud, the shit that they screenshot and tell you is racist and sexist is the furthest thing from the truth. Look at what they do with Gina Carano, with what she tweeted out. It was the furthest thing. She did not mention conservative. She didn't mention Republicans. She didn't mention political affiliation. She just quote tweeted, "Hey, back in the day, it didn't happen overnight, and people were kind of building up to, you know, treat other people like trash, like dirt before, you know, the bad stuff."
Yeah.
No, and I've seen it, you know, we've all seen it in real time, the hypocrisy of even people in our own community who they'll go after us and call us certain names and things. But yet you go and look at the stuff that they've got on their Twitter and it's like, really, that's fresh. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said earlier, when I said about the guy who had posted something on Rush Limbaugh's death, celebrating his death, like the moment he did that, I was like, I don't want to be associated with this asshole anymore. But not only that, before I said, okay, you know, I'm going to mute the guy or whatever, which is something that I don't really like to do. I don't like to mute or block people, but sometimes you just have to. Before I did, I sent him a message saying, hey man, quick question. Do you think it's really a good idea to celebrate someone's death seconds after they've died whilst their friends and family members are still mourning? Because if you do, then please tell me what the difference between that and the Westboro Baptist Church picketing a gay man's funeral is, because I'm not seeing any fucking difference.
No, and that's a great point. No.
Exactly. I never understood that anyway. Like, why do you have to be? I started noticing this when a lot of the people I used to really, really admire and respect, and I dipped off of entertainment and everything because nothing's really been that great for years and years and years. And I was just watching older stuff and not really paying attention to modern pop culture. But then I kind of got back online and started really noticing a lot more a few years back. And all right, this comedian is an absolute asshole and wants to throw everybody who disagrees with into a concentration camp. What the fuck? Or this person is completely hateful and hypocritical and they don't see this double standard. I don't see any difference between this group or that group because they're both pretty much doing the exact same thing. I mean, if you got a picket sign, you don't seem any different to me. As long as you're not harming anybody, what's the problem? Yeah. But you've got one side and they've politicized and divided so much to where you can't even have a discussion about anything without, you know, a certain section of it, a certain section of the people getting so emotionally triggered and upset and going immediately into, well, you just clearly hate this person, you're trying to kill grandma, or you're trying to, right? No, nobody's saying that. We're just asking questions. We're just trying to have a dialogue here, and nobody, like, you just can't anymore. You can't have a debate. You can't question.
Exactly. Like you brought up religion earlier and how there's kind of a similarity in the self-righteousness, and I do agree with that. And you know, anyone who's watching who is religious, you know, this is not an attack on you whatsoever, but I come from a very religious household, and as a kid I was being told the whole time, you know, you've got God who's the good guy, the devil's the bad guy. And my first question was, hold on, you've got the devil who sits on a throne and looks at the world and goes, that guy's just raped someone. I've now got his name on my list. When his time comes, he's coming down here and I'm going to fuck with him. That guy's just fucking robbed someone. That guy's just killed a child. They're coming down here. And you're telling me that's the bad guy. The guy who wants to punish these people who've done horrible things is the bad guy. But yet you've got the guy upstairs who's looking down and going, you know what? I think I'm just going to kill all your firstborn children. and you're telling me they're the good guy. And the moment I ask that question, sit down, shut up, how dare you? That's wrong. That's incredibly wrong. Tell me why. Tell me why it's wrong. If we cannot have this conversation, nothing's going to get better. It's just going to get worse. And yes, I do like to play devil's advocate, believe it or not.
It's in the name.
I like to beat them at their own game. I like to outwoke them. I'm like, yes, but according to your rules, you are this then. Oh, they hate that. They hate it. They hate being called out.
It's rules for thee, not for me. That's the way it always is. Yes. Adam Wolford says, okay, Lucifer, I will tell everyone my dark secret. I'm a werewolf. I went to Sweden and found a cave with a giant wolf skull and cut my hand.
Are you sure it wasn't when you were walking across the moors?
Yeah, stay away from the moles.
Perhaps the rain will protect them.
That's the one horror movie Rob has seen. The one horror movie Rob likes.
We won the pub quiz one night because I knew the name of the pub, the Slaughtered Lamb.
No, Rob just hates anything remotely horror outside of like Gremlins and American Werewolf in London are like the only two I can get him to watch.
I mean, how many times can I watch? Yeah, how many times I often say, how many times can I watch a lumbering madman butcher a bunch of kids at a party?
9.
Oh, we're out of beer. I'll go to the basement and get it.
And then after 9, he goes to space.
Which we try not to talk about.
Oh, that one's hilarious. That's one of the best deaths.
Well, they didn't wait for Leprechaun. They're like, we're going to shove this in the middle here.
Not only are we going to send him to space, we're going to spend him to the hood afterwards.
Oh, gosh.
How funny was Jason's reaction, though, when he's like, wait a minute, I can't kill this. This is
yeah, Jason X does have some moments. Like, it definitely does.
It's not as bad going back in retrospect.
Because it almost knows what it's doing at that point. You know what I mean? Like they weren't fooling themselves. And then you got David Lynch in the first, or not David, the other guy that was in Star Trek Discovery, the other director. What's his name? Cronenberg, yeah. You got Cronenberg in the beginning part getting killed by Jason, like he wanted to get killed by Jason. That's why he's there. No, seriously, he's like, yeah, David Cronenberg wants to be in a Jason movie. Like he wants to direct it. No. He just wants to be in it.
He wants to be in it. Yeah.
His only stipulation is he wants to get killed by Jason.
Wasn't that the same with Nightbreed? It was like he didn't want to direct it. He just wanted to be in it.
I think so, probably. Yeah. I think he's done that a few times now. Yeah. I love directors like that. It's like, no. I just want to get killed on screen.
More power to them.
Well, that's why I love like John Landis movies and all those guys where they'll put their buddies in the movies.
Yeah.
You know, you got Frank Oz popping up, George Lucas. And shit.
And then you had
Spielberg.
Mick Garris did it with Sleepwalkers, where it was like let's let Clive Barker in and have a cameo. Stephen King.
Oh yeah, those guys do that shit all the time. Yeah,
it's just amazing. That's the only reason why you should watch that film. I mean, it's so cheesy and bad, and I love it. But for most people, the only reason you should see it is spot all the different fucking horror actors and directors who've got cameos in it.
Lachlan and all of them are in there. Yeah, yeah. They love all those guys love to do that to each other. They love putting each other in their movies all the time. And actually, speaking of that, he was just in the new remake of The Stand, which I'm like, why are you there, Mick? My God, they destroyed it. What the fuck are you doing there? Because he directed the original miniseries.
Yeah.
Man,
that was like the one good one that everybody kind of liked.
Yeah.
Well, it's because the story is so good. It's really hard to screw it up.
But they did so badly.
Yeah, they went out of their way on CBS All Access to screw up the story.
Hey, we're gonna skip to the end. Fuck off.
No, and then you know what's even better yet, Mecca? They made this big to-do about Stephen King rewrote the ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't change the climax of the story. This climax of the story is still exactly the same. It's all this actual shit. He added like a whole nother chapter after it's like, nobody cares. It goes through this whole fucking spiel between the two couple. The one girl's like, I want to go home. So they go home. And like, so they go back to where they came from originally. And then it zooms out, and in the field, there's this little black girl living in the field. So they're either insinuating that the devil's coming back through her, or she's the reincarnation of the old lady. One of the two. And then it's like, so what the fuck was the point of all this?
Michael Burnham.
Yeah, that's really, it was like, what? Wait, the story's done last episode. Like, seriously, I don't understand. There was only so little left to tell because, like, they got to the end. I'm like, wait, this isn't going to be 9 episodes, right? This is the end of the story. I thought they changed it. No, it all ends the same. They just blow up Las Vegas.
But if you're gonna rewrite the end, then you have to rewrite the climax as well. I don't give a shit about a new denouement. Fucking
yeah, that's the part everybody had a problem with. Is like, you got the devil, and he's just gonna be destroyed by a nuclear bomb. Please, like,
oh man, it just reminds me of when that Stephen King It miniseries. Like, how good was that until the fucking end, or should I say the climax of the story?
And I actually interviewed the director, and he feels bad about that, but they ran out of money, and he's like, what could I do, and then that's the one thing, the new one, I didn't care for the first part of the new It, but I did enjoy the climax, but I was kind of surprised how a lot of people didn't like it. I'm like, well, it was better than the original.
Yeah.
And I mean, I kind of like the whole idea of them, taking away his power and belittling him and basically turning it around on him. I kind of like that whole thing.
Yeah, I thought chapter 1 was great. Chapter 2 to me was like, oh, here's Horror the Avengers then.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed chapter 2 better than I did the first one. I was surprised that the general audience didn't.
Yeah.
And I see the opposite with no, chapter 2 is actually done pretty well. The only downside to me personally was that you could tell the kids were 3 years older. Like, that's one thing I talked about with the original director. I was like, I don't know why they didn't at least film the kids bits all together. Like, I mean, you knew you were going to do another part. Of course, they didn't know how big this was going to be, but like, still, it was like, at least the kids' parts they should have filmed. But they also lost the whole dynamic of, the flashing back and forth. At least made the older versions more acceptable, to where when we just kind of get introduced as the old versions in the second film, it's kind of off-putting at first. But that's just me. But I'm surprised people didn't like the second chapter as much. I don't know why.
Well, the second chapter was well made. I don't know what it was. It just didn't resonate with me. Whereas the first chapter, I don't know what it is, but it hit home, and it got me right where it wanted me to be. And I just loved it. I loved that experience. But the second one, I just felt kind of like more worn down watching it than anything.
That's fair. Maybe it was because I went in expecting not to like it at all. And
that might be why. Because I went in thinking this is going to be just as good as the first one, and I was so quickly disappointed.
See, I was one of the few who I didn't hate the first one, but if you go back and watch my review, I do say that the original miniseries did it better, and I still stand by that, except for the very end. That's the only thing I want.
Didn't we do a stream of that? Like,
I think we did right after it came out. You and I don't know if anybody was there, but yeah. Because you and I went to see it on opening night, I believe.
Yeah, and it was either that or Halloween, or maybe both.
We did both, I think, maybe.
Yeah, it's probably both, huh?
Because you and I are the only ones who really watch horror movies besides Andre, and he's never up when we are. So.
Yeah, I think I remember more about being annoyed about the person next to me shining a light on.
That was the Batman or the Halloween one. I remember you said, because they were filming the movie, and you told
that was another bad. Every horror movie, I just have assholes like, okay, why are you live streaming it to Facebook? While like that was Halloween, and then it was just somebody on the phone texting next.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now the first movie, what pissed me off is I went to see it, and I had 2 kids behind me who couldn't have been no more than 16, 17, right?
Yeah.
And they're giving this commentary through the whole part, and they're like, oh yeah, the original one was this and that and the other, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I was about to turn around and go, if I wanted the DVD commentary, I would have waited for the movie to come out. And then some guy just goes, shut the fuck up. And not only that, all the information they were talking about was completely wrong. And I'm just like, so part of me just wanted to turn around and correct them. And then the other part of me is just like, shut up. I'm trying to listen to the fucking movie. And of course the theater was packed. I didn't expect it to be, right. Like, the first movie come out, I'm like, all right, it'll be like so many. I did not expect the theater to be like, I got stuck in a spot where I didn't like to sit. And that's what pissed me off as well. Because it was back with all the kids. I usually like to sit about mid row with more adults and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got stuck in the back with these kids, and I'm just like, ugh, shut up.
Are you someone who likes to go to like a later showing, or are you like me? You like to go to the earliest showing possible because there's less chance of other people being there.
Matinees, no other people.
Yeah, if it's a movie I have to see right away, I usually get stuck going to the midnight showings. But what's cool is they used to be like nobody ever used to go to those.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing Superman Returns and I was like the only one in the theater.
Oh,
Like,
isn't
you know,
that heaven?
sometimes it can be, but then you're kind of disappointed because you're like, shit, I wish more people was into this. You know,
I think I saw Joker was like 2 other people in the whole theater.
Joker was, oh my God.
3 in the afternoon. But I was like, we were starting to search people and shit.
But yeah, like if it's a movie I'm just going to see for myself and I on my own leisure, I'll definitely prefer to go to like a matinee or a late show to where I know there's going to be less people to deal with. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, when I'm going to a premiere, I enjoy seeing a lot of people, especially if I enjoyed the film.
Yeah, it's very rarely that I do a premiere. Like, if I'm going on the first day, I want the earliest showing as possible, or either that or I'll leave it a week or two. I remember doing it with Captain America, the First Avenger, and this was like one of my favorite cinema going experiences because I went there 11 o'clock in the morning showing thinking, right, no asshole is going to be here. It's just going to be me. I walk in, the place is fucking packed. There's literally 1 seat left. I was like, oh shit, it's going to be kids. It's summer. They're going to have their phones out. Fuck. So I just quickly scrambled to my seat and then I was like, hold on, something's not right. It's too quiet. There's no phones. And I started looking around me and it was all World War II veterans and me stuck in the middle of it. And they're all fucking, the only time they made a sound was when like Cap was fucking like hitting Red Skull. They were like, yes, fucking go for it. And at the end, when the credits started rolling, they all stood up, gave a salute and started a round of applause. And I was like, my God, this is amazing. This is the only time I think it's acceptable to be in a packed out cinema.
No, I love those kind of experiences. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, when everybody's into the movie and nobody's distracting anything, that's great. That's when I don't mind being in the crowd. And I know that probably makes Rob happy because him and I are ones that go, Captain America is one of the first Marvel movies that never gets enough respect. Never gets enough respect. And it's like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's about as close to a perfect Marvel movie as you can get, really. It has a hero's journey. It's well paced. It has a hero and a mentor relationship.
You put that needle in him, it's going to go straight through his arm.
Yeah. Oh, get that kid a sandwich.
You know? You're making me cry.
It's got such a beautifully clear structure as well. That's one of the things I really appreciate.
Absolutely. And it's great characterization, perfect casting all across the...
Yeah, and we always say director Joe Johnston, he is one of the most underutilized directors in Hollywood, and he should be one of the directors making Star Wars movies.
Well, I know Rob knows it, Mecca knows the story, but do you know the story of Joe Johnston and how he became a filmmaker?
No.
Of course, he worked on the first 3 Star Wars films, right?
Right.
And he got burnt out by that, and he went to George, and he's like, look, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And George is like, well, you'd be a great filmmaker. So I'll tell you what if I pay for you to go to film school? If you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't have to do anything, but you know, I'll pay for you to go to film school. So he paid for him to go to film school. And his first movie he directed out of film school was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So he replaced Stuart Gordon on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yep.
Oh, brilliant.
Yep. And yeah, he did well. And then, of course, he ran butt heads with KK on Jurassic Park 3. And ever since then, he's kind of been on the outsides. And then he did Captain America. And that was like his last big thing he's really done.
Yeah. I haven't heard of him doing anything else since.
Yeah, I don't know if he's semi-retired now or what, but that's the thing, you know, like Rob and I was like, where's Ben Burtt? Where's Joe Johnston? Where are all these guys who were actually there when Star Wars was being made? None of them are existent right now in Lucasfilm.
Kathy doesn't like them.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't want competition. She'd rather have her little diversity hires and her perfect little story groups. And
you have Ryan Johnson. Yeah, there you go.
Agreeable people. She wants agreeable people who kiss her butt. She doesn't want artistes.
Lucifer, what did you think of The Last Jedi?
Now this is the thing. All right, I have a Star Wars tattoo right here on my wrist. I have not seen any of the Disney Star Wars. I haven't seen Force Awakens. I haven't seen Rogue One. Haven't seen Last Jedi. The one that I was interested in the most was The Last Jedi, though, because of Ryan Johnson and the fact that he made a little movie called Brick. which I think is a wonderful, amazing little independent movie. And I thought, you're getting this guy to do Star Wars? That sounds like a great idea. And everyone I know who's seen The Last Jedi has been like, don't do it. Just don't fucking bother. You will want to kill yourself afterwards.
Terrible.
I envy you. You actually have all those brain cells left intact now.
For now.
For now, yeah. I'll tell you, my experience was, everybody was raving about it. Oh, greatest Star Wars movie ever. Greatest Star Wars movie since Empire. Greatest Star Wars movie. Reviews were glowing. I'm like, okay, I got to see it. I went to go see it on a Monday night. I purposefully did not listen to any of the negative reviews. I tried to not listen to any spoilers.
Yeah.
I sit down, I'm watching the movie, and I'm sitting there saying, this can't be the movie everyone says is so great. Can it? Like, what am I missing here? And I on the walk out to the car, in the car park, I was like, I guess I liked it. It was Star Wars. Was it Star Wars? I'm like, and on the drive home, I'm just trying to convince myself that I liked it. And then the more I thought about it, the more I started to come around more. And the more
if you listen to our review, you can kind of tell in our review where we go from, and then by the end of it, we're just like, and this is wrong with it, and this is what's wrong with it, and this is.
It sounds like you were in shock.
It was
after leaving the cinema.
It really was, and it did take a while. Rob's right, and I think a lot of fans dealt with that. I mean, there were some who came to it quicker, but I even did a video at the time where I equated the whole thing to a breakup. I'm like, Star Wars was this great relationship you had. It was like that high school, romance. And then it went away for a while. You moved on, you did other things. Well, then you got back together with the prequels. Wasn't as great as before, though. So you both decided it was probably best you go your own ways, right?
Yeah.
Well, then years go by, people grow, people change.
Yep.
You talk to this individual, you see them again online. You're like, wait a minute. They're acting like I remember them back in high school. They look great. In fact, they even look better than when we dated them last time. But then after you go on a few dates and you realize there's more wrong now than there ever was before. And this is just not going to work. You are two completely different people on two completely different paths. And it finally came to a point where I had to feel like this is it. This is the final breakup.
Yeah.
I will never go back to this person. This person will never be in love with me like they ever were before. Same thing. It's just like a breakup, and especially one of those ones where you've had 2 or 3 shots at it and it just doesn't work. And that's what it felt like to me. Cause I mean, to me, the moment I should have known was when the whole Leia scene happens. Cause let's be real. And everybody kind of said the same thing I did. So I'm not saying anything nobody else has, but I was sitting there, I was ready. I seen it coming. I was prepared to say my goodbyes to Princess Leia.
Yeah.
I like, okay, this is it. And the scene built up. The way it was working was perfect. It was like, okay, this guy has killed both of his parents. That's setting him up for some really fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Now, though, she's still alive. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
So I went from being welled up one moment to a whole lot of confusion. And from that point on, the rest of the movie was a whole lot of confusion. And that's where I think that feeling came from, was just like, wait, what did I just watch? And you're trying to figure out that end scene, which is just complete. I'm sure people have explained it to you that it's just completely batshit crazy.
I don't know the ending to it whatsoever. It's a miracle, to be honest with you.
Ending to it.
Okay, well, most of the movie is basically a slow speed chase. Let's put it this way: the O.J. Simpson chase was much more exciting. I shit you not.
We watched that. I haven't watched that in a few years.
Yeah, no, I shit you not, because the whole thing has to do with, we're the last of the rebellion. They're the last of the resistance, supposedly, which is like, at this point, it's like, why is it such a big deal that these two are fighting then? And it's all because they're running out of gas. They're in the middle of this slow speed chase. They're just out of firing range. But if they use light speed, they'll use all their gas up too fast.
Well, this is the worst Mad Max sequel I've ever heard of.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tom, what do I always say though about fuel in Star Wars? How can Luke Skywalker fly his X-wing all the way from Dagobah to Cloud City and not
do it to Akbu?
Oh, unbelievable!
Which is supposed to be like way on the edge of the galaxy or whatever. so most of the movie spent with us following along with these two, and then they send off Finn and Rose Tico on this other side mission that doesn't fucking matter. And then you got
space horses, but leaves a bunch of kids behind to be by the Empire.
Well, you know what?
You got this planet. Go ahead, Rob.
Fuck those kids. They got to learn a skill. I mean, you really, come on.
Yeah, they got this planet that's like a whole planet like Las Vegas. So they've got like space horses and all this shit locked up, and they've got slave kids and crap, right? Yeah. So instead of getting the kids out, they release all the horses.
The horses were cute, though. They looked like the Last Guardian sort of big dog thing.
So anyway, that's that whole little spiel, and that was just so they could supposedly get on some dreadnought or something or other and get some fucking code from Benicio del Toro. It doesn't matter. He ends up turning them in and all this shit. Well, then fucking they all get like to this planet, and they're kind of pinned down. Well, this whole time Rey's over on Octu trying to learn from Luke, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here! I want my blue milk. Just leave me the fuck alone."
Skating on the sidewalk again.
He's like, "I'll teach you 2 lessons. The Jedi suck. That's it.
Get off my planet, you stupid girl."
That's really it is. So then they spent all this time doing that. He realizes Han Solo's dead. At no point does he even realize, what's going on with his sister. Even R2 like shows the original message from Leia, and he's like, "Oh, that's cheap, you little fucker." It's like it still don't work. It's like, dude, he's trying to tell you your sister needs your fucking help.
Tom, this is a great idea for a video. Tom breaks down The Last Jedi.
So then Yoda shows up out of nowhere, and he's like, "Smart is she. You should listen to her, because she's the bestest ever." He blows it up. He's like, "You don't need those fucking books." And he's like, "Well, those are all the books." And so well, then she stole the books anyway, so it don't matter. So then she's like, "Fuck this shit. I've had enough. This guy's not going to teach me nothing." And she takes off, right?
Yeah.
He stays there. They're all pinned down on this planet, right? So the Last Order is like got him in this cave, literally like trapped in this cave.
Right.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Luke shows up. But it's not the Luke we know. It's like a midway Luke. It's like 10 years, 20 years younger Luke.
Oh, so wait. Tom, you're missing a part, though.
You're missing the porgs. You're missing the porgs.
No, there's a big door that the pseudo empire has to blow a hole through, and the Finn, the black guy, he's gonna sacrifice himself and take out the cannon, and then the Asian chick is leaning into the stereotype that Asians are bad drivers, crashes into him.
None of that shit's important. That's the problem.
No, he's the reason why.
Saving what we love by killing what we hate, or I don't know.
No, yeah, it's just we can't win by killing what we hate, but saving what we love is what she says.
Look, there's the bad guys.
Okay, so here's so Rob is right on this. So like he's going out there, this guy's actually going to save everybody by basically creating kamikaze suicide and blowing everybody up by smashing into them, right? So she goes out there and she crashes into him instead. Could have killed his ass. And they're still so she basically solidifies their doom if Luke Vision wouldn't have showed up. And I say Luke Vision because he's not really there. He has projected a vision of himself across the fucking galaxy. So he's standing there and they're shooting him and everything and nothing's happening. Well, it's because he's not really there. Well, then they have a little fucking sword fight between him and Kylo Ben, and that goes nowhere. And then all of a sudden he disappears or whatever, and everybody's like, "Well, what the fuck's going on?" Well, then that gives the resistance enough time to escape, and Rey helps them escape. Well, then you flash back over where Luke's doing. He's like floating on a rock, and he had forced himself to death, so he disappears. I shit you not. And this is how Leia dies in the third film too, because she forces herself to death.
They got all tuckered out.
Wow, this sounds like a fucking parody, not an actual Star
I know.
Wars
You're
movie.
not kidding, because like a lot of people are like, Spaceballs is a better Star Wars sequel than the Star Wars.
That's wow. Just I am fucking lost.
Was good.
Luke OD'd on the Force, seriously, and so did Leia.
He OD'd on the Force, and then did John Travolta come in, like stab a needle in his chest or anything?
Nope, nothing. None of that.
Fuck.
No, he just disappears. There's no body to stab.
Wow.
Yeah, so then that leads to all the crap in Rise of Skywalker.
They literally refer to it as him ODing on the Force. I did videos on that. Mark Hamill released an interview where he says, "Yeah, it's like Luke OD'd on the Force."
He used too much Force, but yet she can do this all the time with Kylo Ben, and it doesn't seem to have any effect on her. Like they're having fucking Skype sessions through the whole movie.
You know what? I'm going to after this is all said and done, I'm going to download this video and I'm just going to cut out this segment where you've just described The Last Jedi to me. Because next time I have a case of imposter syndrome and I start thinking to myself, what am I thinking? I can't write for shit. I'm just going to listen to that and go, no, I was wrong. I can do this.
Oh, just wait till you see The Rise of Skywalker if you ever do.
Have you ever seen the? Do you know of a YouTuber named Mauler?
God, that rings a bell.
Well, he does a huge breakdown of
all three of the films he's done now.
Right. Yeah, all three of the films, and I mean they're very detailed.
Yeah.
You're better off spending 3 or 4 hours listening to him break down one of the movies than actually watching them. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the end of breaking down the movie, he goes, and then the film ends. What a horrifying disaster, he says. And he's right. It is a horrifying disaster because the last scene is of these kids, of the slave kids, recounting the tale of Luke Skywalker with these little toy soldiers. And I'm like, these kids are across the galaxy. How do they know the story? You know, who was there to tell them that? It makes no fucking sense. And then one of them actually walks out, looks up at the sky, puts his hand out, and uses the Force to grab his broom.
And it goes nowhere.
And it goes nowhere. And I'm like, that's it. And the movie ends. I'm like, what the fuck did it just? What
that kid was never heard from again.
Yeah. Oh, and he had all these online things. Oh, is Broom Boy gonna be the next Jedi? Is he gonna be the next? Like, no, he's not. Like it goes nowhere. Like everything else in this movie.
Broom Boy died on the way to his home planet. Paul J. Lewis says it needs to be said that Mecca's breasts are wonderful. Not being sexist, just stating the blindly. Well, I'm sure Mecca's boobs appreciate it.
Giggity.
Trenchman says, I'm scared for Ultraman. If Disney gets his hands on him, Kathleen sees an opportunity to ruin it. I'm not sure who's doing the new Ultraman thing. I did hear about it, though.
Lucifer, are you a fan of Indiana Jones?
Here's my deep, dark secret that I was going to take to my grave. I've never seen an Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I've got a very interesting weekend coming up where I will probably try to.
Well, the first 3 movies of those are really good. There
are only 3.
Yeah, there are only 3. Adapt XR says, dang, Tommy boy, you looking beef. That's right, Justin. All you got to know is Perry Chan. You don't have to work out. You don't have to eat, right? All you got to do is know Perry Chan, and he'll make you very, very buff. That's my buddy Justin out there watching. Cool. Thanks for watching, Justin. And then Matt G says, with $5, they have been saying every Star Wars movie is the best one since Empire, even Episode 4. That's true, though. Yeah, that was one thing I think drove Rob more nuts than anything. I remember when all the reviews was like, not every single fucking one of these is the greatest fucking movie ever.
I like all the Star Wars. Hello, I'm Leslie Headland. How you doing? It's my Leslie Headland action figure.
I like all the Star Wars, boy.
So Leslie Headland, the screenwriter who's doing some shitty Star Wars TV show about diversity or something.
Kathleen Kennedy said, how are we going to ruin Star Wars even more? I said, give a series to me.
So Leslie Headland is Harvey Weinstein's ex-personal assistant.
I was just going to say, hey, Leslie, who'd you work for before?
I worked for Uncle Harvey. That's right.
I thought you called him Daddy Harvey.
Well, we called him Uncle Ed. Well, we weren't going to talk about that, Bon.
Oh, sorry, Fred.
That was before I started to play for Team Pink.
Now it finally focuses. Matt G said in $2. Episode 9 is 100% Mystery Science Theater. Even has stock footage. Yeah, it does. Of all the stock footage from not the last film, but the film before that. They only used footage from Force Awakens because that's the one that JJ directed. He didn't.
Right.
You know, that's where I've compared these movies to. The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi are the world's most expensive Twitter war between directors. Because you basically had Ryan Johnson go, well, I can do it better than JJ. And then JJ's like, well, fuck you. You ruined my movie. Now I'm going to do it better than you and ruin your movie at the same time. Because there's a bunch of shit in the third film that really says, like, he literally says, oh, that's dumb, to something that like two or
no
three
way to
things.
treat a lightsaber.
Yeah, that's no way to treat a lightsaber. And it's like, and then there was a thing called the Haldo maneuver they did in The Last Jedi. And they're like, well, that was dumb and 1 in a million chance. It should have never worked, kind of thing. And so they're pointing out all these things that were stupid about it while making all kinds of new stupid mistakes. So yeah,
space horsies on top of the ship.
Yeah, they're yeah. Then JJ's just like, here, hold my beer, kind of thing. And you think that shit was nuts. Just wait till you see this.
Oh no. I always say that one moment that encapsulates how dumb the sequel trilogy is when Rey is flying Luke's X-Wing and she has his helmet on and it's grotesquely oversized for her head. It just shows you that's how far out of their depth they are in this.
Boy, the Breebots are still out in full force, aren't they? Jesus.
Who's out in full force?
Breebots.
Oh, are they still going? What are they doing now?
Same old shit.
Hey, it's not our fault. It's not my fault that she doesn't, It's
who the fuck cares about? Why defend that bitch? Who cares that much about her?
Hey, you got it.
They're trying to get the bitch fired. No, really. Here's the difference. They will bully somebody like Gina Carano until she gets fired. But with somebody like Brie Larson, we just say, hey, she's got a shitty attitude and she's not that interesting. And then they will try and ruin your life if you dare say anything.
Hey, the Russian troll farms were having a special that week, okay?
They were.
They got to get the rubles worth.
We only work for dollars, no more rubles.
Yeah.
I can't buy Muppet movies with rubles.
Oh, so the Muppets are offensive now.
That's why we love the Muppets.
Yeah. I fucking heard about that the other day, and it just boggles my mind. How the fuck do you find the Muppets offensive?
If you identify as a Muppet, you do.
I'm green, for Pete's sake.
You're Kermit person color.
I am. I'm a frog of color.
Color.
I dabbled a little in college as well.
So what is the main thing that they've pointed to in the Muppets and said, aha, see, that's why we need to now have a trigger warning on it?
Was it Johnny Cash standing near a Confederate flag in a country song?
Are you fucking kidding me?
I think that was most of it. And racial stereotypes of people. Well, first off, if you have a bunch of Muppets singing in like some sort of a stereotypical costume, those are Muppets. Those aren't people. If you identify as a Muppet, then maybe you are one.
You know what's funny? And I'm willing to bet more black people like Johnny Cash than any other country singer in history.
Probably.
Yeah. I'd be willing to put money on that. Quite happily. Look, I'm an outsider.
Right. And I'm just making a generalized statement here. Don't get me wrong, but yeah.
I'm an outsider on this one, but if people are that pissed by a Confederate flag, maybe there's something I'm missing here, but fucking hell, like, get your priorities right. It's like what I say about words, like they're only as powerful as you allow them to be. It's the same with a Confederate flag. You're the one who's allowing it to have that power over you, and you can take it away at any point. We don't need some fucking moronic trigger warning saying, guess what, this isn't good. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
You can't have people empowered and thinking for themselves, because people have to be oppressed, or how else will they be able to? How else will the corporations tell them how to live their lives and be told what to do? If people gasp were thinking for themselves and had the power all along and had it all within that, they don't want people to know that.
Yeah, and welcome, Paulie, coming in at the last minute here.
Hello, Paulie. How the devil art thou?
Is it that late? I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. We're going to be finishing up here soon, but we're glad to have you as always. Thanatos Felicitas says Kermit and Yoda show Miss Piggy what's behind the green. Oh Lord. Oh shit. Thank you, Justin, for another super chat. You don't have to keep doing this, man. I identify as a wave of atoms that roughly resembles a human being. Well, we already knew this, Justin. You're not quite human. So one of these days, maybe we'll bring Justin on the show. He's a goofy fucker. I love Justin. All right. With that though, welcome, Paulie. How you been doing, man?
Good. I was playing host to one of our buddies. Cameron Pasha came over
That's
the house.
right. You actually seen him face to face.
Yeah. We had a nice time here. He brought over. Was very, very hospitable. Shared some food and some laughs, and it was cool. He just took off, and I was like, when we go say hello to all you guys and catch up. So sorry I was late.
No, that's no problem. Awesome. We're glad to hear you guys had a good night. Paulie, meet Lucifer Storm. This is Paulie of the Latino Clan.
Lucifer Storm. I'm well. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you very much.
All right. Hi, Mecca.
Hello.
Hey. Hello. Hi, Rob.
Hello.
I was muted.
The usual suspects are here now.
Come on.
Yeah, we were just kind of wrapping up things here. We were talking about all the happenings out there. Was there anything going on in your world, Paulie, that we should know about?
Oh God. Give me a second, and then I know you guys are closing up.
No. Well, were you covering any new news that we were talking about Paramount Plus and other crap earlier, but I don't know if anything had come out that you didn't. I know you were busy today with Cameron and stuff, so.
Not really like within our sphere. I mean, with the slant, America Ferrera is going to be directing a film, and she also is executive producing a really good show on Netflix. So I was talking about that, and that's really it, and kind of talking more about Sasha Calle's casting as Supergirl. That's really it. And then what I've been getting all day, guys, is who really is the first Latino superhero, and I'm getting debated on that as far as was it Vibe or was it Zorro?
Ah, yes, I remember we were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, Lucifer. Like, so people are tweeting me, like, no, it was this person in this year, and that. I'm like, okay, whatever you say. I'm not the real expert here, but it seemed 1919 to publish Zorro was like, one of the first ones.
Yeah, Zorro's the oldest one that I'm aware of, but it's whether you count him as a superhero or not, really. Because I'm sure at the time of him being created, they weren't thinking he's a superhero.
No, but I look at him as like the vigilante type,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely the laying the groundwork, and I mean, obviously there wouldn't be a Batman or a lot of other superheroes without him.
Absolutely.
So,
well, yeah, he wore a cape, he wore a hat, he wore a
mask, had dual identity, all that stuff. He, like I said, vigilante, all that stuff. Mr. Tickle Trunk sends us a little cute dog farting hearts, I think, and we appreciate that. Stephen Otten comes back again with, by the time Labyrinth hit theaters, I had lost interest in Muppets. Then they put Jennifer Connelly next to a Muppet. Suddenly, I was interested. And I'm sure the ladies enjoyed the Muppets being next to David Bowie. Like, don't look at my crotch through the whole movie. Sarah, just look in my eyes. I'm more than a crotch. Diego,
really attractive because I don't know.
Oh, women got very attracted to him. Yes, and some men were even had their genitals confused by how sexy he was.
Well, see, that's what I thought. I thought he was more of like a gay icon than a.
He's kind of both. Kind of a. Especially in that era, that was like typical dress for like a lot of those guys. Look, I remember the hair bands. They were all wearing more makeup than most of the women.
Yes.
Twisted Sister and shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Big hair bands. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I think that was all started with Bowie.
Oh yes,
Bowie. Yeah, Bowie.
Era, yeah.
Bowie, the New York Dolls. I
I
mean,
say
yeah,
Iggy Pop, yeah.
the glam era in the UK. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then Diego Flores says, Paulie, have you done a video or live discussion about the current SJW culture in Hollywood through the eyes of Latinos in America or outside the US? Sorry.
Oh God. No. I mean, that's a great perspective though, Diego. And there are a few that were rounding up to hang out with us as far as Geek Tropology and a couple other really cool YouTubers that have an outside, because Latinos outside of the US are a completely different animal. We're so fascinated, obsessed, and we have a love-hate relationship with race. So it's a whole nother animal.
Right.
But yeah, that's interesting.
Mr. Tickle Drinkson's and another super chat says, how the hell did you convince the sunglasses phenom himself, Lucifer Storm, to show up? Well, we begged him and we sent him money. And when that didn't work, Rob offered him sexual favors.
Yeah. And then they realized sacrificing a virgin is just a lot easier. And all of a sudden, here I am.
That's how Rob got involved.
Isn't it how we all get involved in these things?
Well, we needed a virgin, so.
And I got here so late, Lucifer. Are you in the UK right now?
Yes, I am. I'm in a little place called Bournemouth, right in the south of the UK.
Which means it's very late for him. So we're going to try and wrap this up here very soon. But of course, I was lying. Rob's not a total virgin, just a little bit of a virgin.
He's half a virgin.
What's the thing with Jennifer Connelly? People are commenting on.
Oh, we brought up Labyrinth earlier because of the Muppets.
Oh. Yeah, gotcha.
And Jennifer Connelly is very popular.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. We were just talking about her. Me and Cameron in Romy.
There you go.
We were just talking about her. That's
should have videotaped some of that stuff. Having you guys actually in the same room. That's cool.
Yeah.
We put a photo up on Twitter.
Yeah, we should have just done like a quick video thing just for fun. But oh well.
Yeah, I think if it was just us, we probably would have. But the fact that it was our first time hanging out with Romy as well,
gotcha.
Yeah, because she's like, give it a rest, just hang out.
Yeah,
but I hear you, man. That's what I wanted. I was like, what? Let's just go on Emmy, right? Let's just go on Midnight's Edge right now.
Right.
We'll be in the same room. Yeah,
that's totally cool. Yeah, I just saw your picture on Twitter there. So yeah, we're actually, like I said, we were about to be wrapping things up here because we've been going for 2 hours, and I don't want to keep Lucifer too much longer because I know it's getting late where he's at.
You can keep me as long as you like. I'm a bit of a night owl anyway.
Well, we'll keep that in mind because I'm sure we'll have you back soon.
That'd be
been
great.
Awesome talking with you, and like I said, of course, we knew each other from before, but now that you know the rest of the crew, and Rob was real excited to have you on, so we're glad to have you.
It's been really good being on this show. I've really enjoyed this. So anytime you want me, just remember, you sacrifice a virgin. There I am.
We're working on that. We just got to find another one now. Is proper Justin in the chat? Maybe.
That's mean to sell out people like that.
I don't know if he's really a virgin or not. I'm kidding. I'm doubting it.
Just post some kind of like Star Trek Discovery bait over on
some of these Bree bots over here, because they're like, Gina's not gonna fuck you. It's like, yeah, well, Bree's not gonna fuck you either.
Oh, that's right. I saw that.
Hey, I have a much higher chance of Gina fucking me than I think any of those Bree bots have.
Absolutely.
And of course, Drunk 3PO has the highest chance of all of us.
Oh, he's got a chance to fuck everybody. I might even fuck 3PO. Or let him fuck me, one of the two. I don't know.
Ooh.
Well, you got to be fair nowadays,
Hey, yeah.
I don't want to come off too masculine, even if I'm gay. And with that, I think we can.
I'm so glad I jumped on really
Nothing
quick.
there's anything wrong with that.
There certainly isn't anything wrong with that.
You sound like George Takei in all those videos we showed earlier.
Well, maybe he sounds like George. Ooh, I stepped all over that joke, didn't I?
Oh my!
Kind of like Shatner did your career.
Yes, with that big bloated foot of his.
You're just mad because that big bloated foot makes more than your entire body.
Oh, that's why you're still doing conventions, are you?
No. Those are just for fun and ladies. I got the Priceline money now.
Oh, I know. You've got that Priceline money, and I'm hanging out with Howard Stern, slumming it.
How is Howard doing these days?
Oh, he's doing well.
He'd do better if he had me on the show instead of you. A lot better ratings anyway.
Oh, we all know why you won't appear. Oh, my.
No, I don't know why I won't appear other than you've been there.
That's right. I've been there and I took pictures.
And Lord knows I don't want to be any place Takai has been.
Oh, you would
That's
go
clearly no place that any man has never been before. Yes, I was insinuating that George Takai is a whore. And with that, I'll take my leave and beam out of here. Good night. The script's not even here, and I heard him laugh. I swear to God. I miss Script Doctor. Quit being so busy, Script Doctor. Damn it. He's been working so much, he ain't had no time for us. Diego Flores, thank you so much for another super chat. I want to ask Frank about his pitch for his own version of Indiana Jones. Well, my movie is Indiana Jones Goes to Columbia, and he happens to stumble upon the biggest crack rock you've ever seen. Or Coke Rock, whatever. And then he goes to the Congo and fights Amy. And then a T-Rex comes in and eats them all. And then Indiana Jones is like, well, that's something you don't see every day. Congo. That's all he's got.
What happened in the Congo recently? It was like some actress got her arm ripped off in the Congo or something.
No, I didn't hear that.
No,
What the hell happened? It was something. It was something recently. I think I sent it to you. I just can't remember.
Don't go to the Congo. That shit's dangerous.
Yeah, no shit. Like something really bad happened where I can't remember who it was now. It wasn't like a Natalie Portman or somebody. It was somebody though.
I just think Frank was excited that Ernie Hudson brought up Congo. Make it a Congo too. He's like, yes, do this. I don't know if you know who Frank is, Lucifer. That'd be Frank Marshall, the husband of one Kathleen Kennedy, of course.
Ah, right, I see.
Yeah, and he directed movies like, besides producing all the movies along with Kathy, he directed movies like Alive and, of course, Congo and Arachnophobia. And he was second unit director on Who Framed Roger Rabbit as well.
Ah, yeah. My God, it's been years since I've heard anyone mention Arachnophobia.
Right? It's like a movie they buried for some reason. I don't know what the hell. I mean, it finally came out on Blu-ray again, but it was just like, whatever happened to that? Yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't know why.
It was a fun movie.
Yeah. DCB Titan says, does the T-Rex eat the crack rock? Yes. That's how he goes nuts and kills all the aliens.
And if we're going proto superhero, right? Prototype. Zorro is one, because then Batman wouldn't be one. And Zorro, for his day and age, had the same, advanced weaponry that Batman has now.
No, he clearly, like, I mean, it's not even like any kind of secret. Like, I'm pretty sure Bob Kane and Bill Finger have said from many times over that Zorro was a huge influence on Batman.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just bring it up. I mean, there's a couple people chatting about it.
No, absolutely. But when did Vibe come out then?
Oh, Vibe was like in the 90s.
Well, what the hell are they talking about? Vibe wouldn't be the first one.
Well, they're not counting Zorro as a
can't
superhero.
Not count Zorro though.
Well, that's what I'm. Yeah,
that'd be like not counting Tarzan as the first actual comic books hero, basically, because he is.
Yeah.
Because before superheroes, all comics were like fucking westerns and romance, horror and shit. Yeah, you know that, Lucifer. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! All the golden age stuff was all western, war, horror, science fiction, mostly anthology stuff. And then once you get Superman and Batman out the gate, that's when all of a sudden all the publishers were scrambling. We need superheroes who fucking think of them and all that. And of course, it was very different to like how it is now. Now you get a writer's room that sits down, or you get one writer that goes, I'm going to take an older superhero and I'm going to completely deconstruct them. Whereas back then, it was literally 8 guys in a cupboard over a weekend going, we need to draw 48 pages real fucking quick.
Well, no, and even the reason The Mask of Zorro is the movie showing in the theater most of the time in most versions is that specific reason. And you're right, Prince Andrew. Batman is pretty much just a ripoff of Zorro. I mean, even if you look at it, what does Zorro mean in Spanish? Paulie, I mean, it means fox. So like it's the same thing. He's got the animal thing going like Bat, the same kind of thing. He's got another
an alter ego, right? I mean,
yeah.
He's a real person, and every day Don Diego, like a Bruce Wayne. So yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting though, Lucifer, because you mentioned, when you mentioned Superman to me, so it's like, at a certain point after, I guess, would it be World War I that fantasy writers just started taking their ideas off the planet? Because,
around the time of Superman was kind of, if I remember correctly, was the lead up to World War II.
Just before, because and Superman was originally a bad guy. I know you probably know this too, Lucifer. Like the original version of Superman was more like Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And then they kind of shifted it a bit to the hero.
Because it was kind of a power fantasy at first, wasn't it, for the creators? Because they were like, we've been picked on all the time, and we're not the big strong guy. But imagine if we were. What would we do if we were the big muscle bound type? And that's pretty much where Superman comes from. And then, of course, once Superman took off big time, like that was the first time that comics really made an impression on people. And all of a sudden, DC were like, okay, we need another Superman that isn't Superman. What Bill Finger, come here. Let's see what you can do and all that. And that's where Batman came into the game. And then all of a sudden, it just exploded.
And then Wonder Woman, And I mean, we had like, they had a few of the other ones too, like the original Flash and Submariner and all that kind of
original Sandman, Green Lantern as well.
Right.
And of course, when the troops were going from America over to Germany, and the same from like the UK into Germany, they would get those like packages like every week or whatever, with their letters and stuff. There would also be issues of Captain America and Superman comics in there, and that's part of the reason why I think like when I saw First Avenger, there were so many World War II vets there, but also they were receiving Captain America comics. So it meant something huge to them. That's why it was such an amazing experience to see that movie with those people.
Well, I just love that when you said that, like as far as like Westerns, it didn't dawn on me, right? And like that, the Westerns and all that were the superheroes of the day, right? Those heroes. And then what you just said about World War II, that's how we started going off planet, or not, or just off planet, or just really wacky.
And then it all kind of corresponds too with science fiction, and all that kind of stuff, and the era of things from like Jules Verne and all that kind of stuff, opening a lot more doors to the ideas of what could be out there.
Jules Verne, that's right. Oh my God, that's why Back to the Future 3 was so cool.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Cool. Gosh.
And like a lot of the entertainment, especially the more pulpy genre related entertainment, is always reflective of the time. That I think that's one of the reasons why like the entertainment we're seeing now, a lot of us are turning away from it and going, no, we don't want this, because it's not truly reflective of the time and how we feel about things. The reason why we have the slasher genre is because of Vietnam. Without Vietnam, you don't get the slasher genre whatsoever. It was a reflection of our frustrations and everything. And we're not really truly seeing that at the moment, because what we're getting instead is a lot of studios going, we want to give you something so that you turn off your brains. Don't think about shit. Don't see what's really going on. It reminds me of that Bill Hicks joke of like, go back to sleep, America. You're free to do as we tell you.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think that's probably a good place to wrap things up. We've had a hell of a show with Lucifer Storm. Do check out his channel. I'll throw that link one more time in the chat, but it looks like we got you a few subscribers there in the meantime.
Excellent. Thank you very much to all of you who have subscribed.
Absolutely. Yes. You guys do check out his channel if you love comics. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Shenotsky, if I'm saying that right, says Batman was a ripoff of the Shadow. Yeah, well, yeah, you can't forget the Shadow as well. And particularly Partners in Peril was a story used for the first Batman story. Pulps were full of secret identities. Yeah, but of course it all could be traced back to like Zorro. And then of course all that comes from things like Robin Hood and King Arthur, and these are all like just kind of refurbished heroes in a way, even kind of how Superman reflects a lot of Moses's story mixed in with modern muscle men and shit like that. I mean, it was and then just add in the alien aspect, which was the sci-fi thing coming into play at the time. So you had all these things that were perfect storms. You don't have those anymore. Like the last real new superhero character I can think of that really took off with any kind of oomph had to be Spawn. I mean, and how long ago was that now? Almost 30 years?
Yeah, Spawn was kind of like the early 90s. So that was towards, it was roughly the same time as like Outlaw Comics kicking off and the black and white independent boom. So you had lots of quite violent, dark, graphic stuff that was being produced in comics, and Spawn kind of joined in with that, but was more mainstream than stuff like The Crow and Faust and titles like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I enjoy The Crow and stuff like that, but yeah, like the last big superhero new comic, besides maybe the X-Men, it would have to be Spawn.
Yeah,
I don't remember any newer ones ever really taking a place anywhere at the top with any of the other big names. But yeah, if you do love comic book talk, and we're definitely gonna have to have Lucifer back to talk comic books.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I'll talk to you afterwards. I have an idea.
You always have ideas, Paulie. So
I know I gotta stop my head.
No, you're fine. You just we gotta get some stuff done, man.
We got that fun interview this weekend. So
yes, we do. So were we doing that live or are we recording that?
Recording.
Okay, so plug it now, but we'll just wait then. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Sin City, that was a big hit, but I don't know if I would consider it a character. Like that's a whole.
Sin City was just before Spawn, if I remember correctly, because that started off in Dark Horse Presents as a serialized story, and then Frank Miller went on to do actual graphic novels.
Yeah, I still wouldn't say Sin City went nearly as mainstream as Spawn, though. So
no.
Yeah. So do check out Lucifer Storm's channel. Do check out the Latino Slant and Mecha Random 42, of course, if you haven't already. Spawn is kind of an anti-hero, but how much I remember when he came out. Look, let's be real. You know what we said when he came out? It's a ripoff of fucking Ghost Rider. Okay, that's what we said. It's nearly the same character. Let's be real. Like they have a lot of similarities.
Oh yeah, and during that time, name me one character in comics that was an actual hero. Most of them were anti-heroes at that point.
I was just thinking that even Batman was an anti-hero. And
Hellboy, I forgot about Hellboy. I still wouldn't say Hellboy's as mainstream as Spawn, though. But yeah, he's probably then the last one, because I think Hellboy came out after Spawn, right? Because that was like late 90s, wasn't it?
If I remember, Hellboy appeared in a Marvel title first.
Okay, was it earlier than that?
So, yeah, I think it was towards the end of the 80s. Don't hold me to that though.
I couldn't remember. Because I didn't become familiar with Hellboy till after Spawn. So
yeah, same here. I think it was like the early 2000s that I first kind of like discovered Hellboy, and I was like, he's been around how fucking long, and I've only just discovered him now. He's one of those characters. He deserves mainstream success, but no one's really figured out how to get him that mainstream success yet.
The movie probably did the best it could for him. And he is a more original character. That's a great one to bring up, because of all the characters of the newer ones, I can't think of anybody who he really rips off too much. I mean, if somebody else out there can think, I mean,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
was Del Toro.
Yeah, the first one.
Yes.
Especially.
Yep. Yes. Love those. Love the Del Toro movies.
I even like the second
one too much.
Oh, I didn't watch the new one, but I have it. I can't do it.
No. Why?
It does the mistake that quite a lot of movies based off of previous like the 90s Judge Dredd movie did this thing where it said, let's cherry pick from 3 big storylines and mash it together. And the new Hellboy movie kind of does a similar thing where it goes, okay, we're going to focus on this storyline, but let's also add a little bit of the corpse. Let's add a little bit of Baby Yaga in there and loads of other bits. And you're like, fucking stop. just pick one story and tell me that.
Well, the trailer didn't even look that appeasing to me because I could tell it was like they weren't spending any money on it. Like that was the big point of contention was they did not want to give Del Toro the money he wanted to do part 3.
Yeah.
And even if they didn't get Del Toro back, like the biggest mistake was not bringing back the cast and at least trying to keep it in the same universe.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where everybody's first problem was like, why not? You had the perfect cast. Like everybody was perfect.
Yeah.
Why are you messing with this? Yeah, Doug Jones. Yeah,
Doug Jones.
I can't remember the main guy's name now for some reason.
Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
You know,
and
Ron
you also had David Hyde Pierce doing the voice of Abe Sapien at one
in the
point.
first movie, yeah. And then they just said, "Fuck it, why not just have Doug Jones do it because he sounds just like him anyway?" So
yeah.
In the second,
it sounds like that actor who took over Perlman. I like that actor.
David Harbour.
He's a good actor. He's just not right for the part.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, I just feel like he was perfect the first time. Perlman just happened to capture whatever it was that Hellboy was.
Yeah, Perlman. Yeah, he's pretty special. He's pretty special. Yeah. Yeah, John Hurt. Rest in peace.
God, rest in peace.
Yes, John Hurt, man. Shit. Could do a whole retro on his career.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, no, not again.
Yeah.
I ordered the soup.
Yeah. I think I saw like a scene from the latest Hellboy. You know, like I didn't see the movie and I saw the scene. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to pass.
Yeah, the trailer didn't. I don't even know why I bought it. I really don't. I just.
It was one of those things like when they first announced it and they mentioned the director because it was the same director that did Dog Soldiers and The Descent. I was like, okay, I'm interested. Then they mentioned that they cast David Harbour and I was like, this is all sounding good on paper. You saw those first like test shots of him in the makeup and everything. It's like, this could go somewhere. Then the trailer dropped and he's like, I'm out. See ya.
Well, living here in LA, I remember seeing there was one billboard up of it real early and it was up forever and it's still up. It's still up. Like they must have bought that billboard for 10 years on the side of Wilshire Boulevard.
Just hoping that it'll be a cult hit.
Right. I'm just like, oh God, that's horrible.
What movie was that?
Hellboy.
For they still have it up for the Hellboy movie
or for the latest one. Yeah.
Wow, that came out way before the lockdown. I would be like, oh, it's probably just because
lockdown
happened and nobody bought the space. But what the fuck?
Correct. You know, it might be a thing where like maybe the building is actual, like, you know, the guys who produced it, so they bought their own billboard. I don't know.
Maybe.
Could be.
They do that shit here in Hollywood. They'll know the routes of certain producers and actors, and they'll put their billboards up just so when they go and get their latte, it's like, you're special. There's your billboard.
That's where all your money's going.
Weird.
That is the thing, guys.
It will have been 2 years by this summer, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's not a big billboard, which is really weird. You know, which is really funny, and it's on the side of a building. It's like against a building, but it's there. There it is. I'm like, all right. You know what? I will take a picture.
I believe you totally. But yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
But with that, I want to tell everybody again to check out the Lucino Slant, check out Lucifer Storm, check out Mecha 42. Of course, if you haven't already, do check out our friend Script Doctor as well, even though he's been busy and hasn't had no time for us. Until next time, though, I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining us. If it wasn't for you, we couldn't do this. Thank you for all the super chats. They keep the lights on for sure. And I think that the audience has done such a great job. They deserve a maximum effort puppy. What do you guys think?
Hell yes.
I think so. Let me see if I can find the clip here. We've got maximum effort puppy. Here we go. Yay. You gonna get up there.
Come on. You can do it. Come on. There you go.
And for Paramount Plus, they get a Timmy. And I think they deserve it. Well, I was going to give them a lazy puppy, but why not? We'll do a minimum effort puppy. They get since we're getting a Beavis and Butthead movie, we'll give them a minimum effort puppy. I know. Like, stop doing this, please. And I don't think anybody would appreciate it if we went out of here without the one, the only koalas in the rain. So thanks again, kids. We appreciate it, and we will catch you on the flip side. See you tomorrow morning on Midnight's Edge in the morning, of course. Yes, we got a crossover with Jeff of World Class Bullshitters, so do check that out as well. So, where's my koalas in the rain? I got too many clips. Too many clips. Here we go.
Koalas in the rain.